Yes, people, welcome back to Let's Talk Premier League. This is the new show. We're here for late night Let's Talk. It's just something a bit fun. We're going to go down a bit like memory lane. As you can see in the background, we got the Wigan team, we got the Leicester team, we got the Nottingham Forest team. What more can you want on a Thursday night? What more could you ask for? I'm joined by Matt. How are we doing, mate?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Yeah, I'm all good. I am all good. We also have Andrew in the building, the main man, the guy who loves a good late night. How are we doing?
That's all right, yeah. I had a couple of hours sleep, so I'm fine now.
Do you know what? I had a nap during the Leicester West Brom first half, and I feel like I should have had the nap in the second half. Because the first half, 3 goals, the second half, no goals. So, of course, that's how it rolls. Big up to DC, love the thumbnail. The thumbnails are getting better and better. They're getting pain. I can assure you of that. I was just showing RJ, I showed him the first ever thumbnail I made, which was the United show. And ironically, the last one I've made is a United show. Obviously, protest, I've changed the background and all that. And I was just showing it to him. I was like, look how much they've improved. And he agreed with me. He did absolutely agree. Big up to DC in the chat. Big up to DJ Sav. Big up to RJ and to Professor. Now, this, as I say, is a new show. It is a new show that basically there is no structure. We have zero structure to this at all, which is how I like it. I don't like structure. What I will do is I will post a link. I did think that I'd put it in the description, but I haven't. But I will post a link into the chat, so anyone can join it. It's basically however you want to do it. It's just going to be a bunch of people just chatting, whatever. But tonight we're doing best football memories. Now, there's lots of ways about this. We're going to discuss personally for our clubs. Love it. We're going to discuss personally for our club, so our greatest moment at our club. And then we're also going to talk about our greatest moment in the Champions League, in the Premier League. Lots of good moments. And after the week we've had, we deserve to talk down memory lane, right? We deserve that tour down memory lane. FYI, Perez, you are a prick. Please go away. That's Andrew's proper going for him. So we'll start with our own clubs. Let's start with our own clubs and our own favourite memories. So we'll start with you, Matt. What is your most favourite memory that you've had at Manchester United?
Well, it's one of the ones that one of my earliest ones kind of was in 2008 when we won the Champions League, obviously. I was 7 at the time. I still remember watching it on ITV as well. It was on ITV back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was such a good night. And when Ronaldo missed the first penalty, I thought we were fucked. But then after John Terry slipped, it all went perfectly well. I forgot he was a Chelsea fan, actually. I wasn't even meaning that.
Believe it or not, I actually did watch that game. I was 12 at the time. Yeah. And it was one of them late ones, wasn't it? And I remember, I think my bedtime used to be around about 9-10 o'clock, right? Back to the days where bedtime was a thing. Like, that's not a thing nowadays. But I remember watching, and my mum was a United fan, and my dad's a Spurs fan. My dad really hated United, so I was there, like, I was just watching it. I was like, because I loved Cristiano Ronaldo as a kid. It was one of the ones I was like, oh my god, he's amazing. And yeah, it was a good match. I did enjoy it. Obviously, went all the way down to penalties. But Andrew, what's your favourite moment that you've had at Chelsea?
Trying to think, because I'm trying to break it down maybe to an experience I had of going to Stamford Bridge or something like that, and maybe that's more of a personal thing. I think actually watching Chelsea, I think it culminates in winning the Champions League in 2012, but it's just how many times we've got close to actually watching it or not doing enough. But the sheer that whole run of that Champions League run in 2012 was something that you don't see in a run. You see maybe that happening over several years or something like that. But that Napoli second leg, then that even those 2 Benfica games, and then the Barcelona, the second leg, even the first leg, and then in the final itself, just so many things happened in just that final itself that doesn't happen in football matches, a lot or even seasons. You know what I mean? Peter Cech, legendary status, saving those penalties. Didier Drogba. I think it was just, and also just the run we had. I think the hardest one I've ever seen in the Champions League is the Man United 99 run from the group stage all the way to the final. It's the hardest one I've ever seen. But ours was just where we were to then win it at the end. It's just something I wouldn't have believed, and just the sheer relief. It was, while I saved the victory, you know what? It was something like, it was actually relief as well. Like, he'd actually done it. You know, unlike the Premier League, when the Premier League came along, we won it. We hadn't really done anything in the Premier League we've been in one title race, but very rarely, like finishing third or something up until then. But this one, we'd been so close. It was like, sort of like, like that. We've done it now. We've done it. You can't take it away from us now. And then also just 2 things that made me glad being a London club. At the top of which I didn't realise we were an hour after we won, we knocked Spurs out of the Champions League because they finished 4th that year. We finished 6th. And then also Arsenal, we're the first London club to win it. So if Arsenal ever win it, they can't claim that mantle. So banter fans aside, Champions League ones for me is people might say the Premier League, but for me it's the Champions League because it's just really hard. It's just you hardly get a chance to win it, let alone win it. Do you know what I mean? So for me, it's the Champions League.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Professor's come and joined us. Professor, what's your favourite moment as a City fan?
If he doesn't say what I think he's going to say, if he doesn't say what I think we're all going to say, I don't know what. You know what? If he doesn't say it, I'll say it. You know, I'll question him severely about this. I really will.
The day their club was born.
Sorry, I didn't catch that. I just nipped out the room for a second. But how's it going, Niall? Right. How's it going, lads? Good evening.
Evening.
I'm all good. So your favourite moment as a City fan?
Look, I think
you don't say it. If you don't say it,
I don't need to say it. So I think you all know. But so you know, but let's talk about other memories. You know, maybe more obscure ones. I mean, for me, getting promoted in 2002, we did pretty well in the then first division. For me, that was the beginning of the sort of, the good times for City, as it were. You know, they'd gone down the season before. There was the whole farce with, George Weah signing for and then leaving after a few games. It was a bit of a rotten season. Kevin Keegan came in, really transformed that club around, and to be fair, from that moment, City never really looked back, to be honest. And even if the money hadn't come in, I still think City would have probably been, at best a top 10 team.
Top 10.
Yes. Yeah, I think so.
No, I hear you.
But moving into a nice shiny new stadium, it was good memories. And 2011, exactly now, nearly 10 years ago now, winning the FA Cup, in my lifetime, certainly the first time ever seeing Man City win a trophy. That was it was a great feeling. And then obviously there's 2012. I think it goes without saying that is probably the greatest moment as a City fan, and I'm hoping in a few weeks' time I'll be able to say that's the second greatest moment as a City fan. But
you'll be saying
that. Well, I hope so. I hope we will be. But talking about that day in 2012, I mean, it was just an incredible game. An incredible moment. Nobody predicted it, and I can tell by your look, MSC, that it's still fortunate to this day. But believe me, none of us watching it at home actually thought that was going to happen. I was just despondent at that.
I never thought it happened when he wrapped up.
I'm getting a lot of really
feedback, man.
Oh,
yeah, I'm
Not yours,
yeah,
Professor. Not yours, Professor.
I think it's a mixture between Matt and Professor. I
Oh,
think
is it?
they're
Oh,
both.
okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were
Um, are you using headphones?
No, I'm not using headphones.
Do you have any headphones? Because that
Yeah,
normally,
yeah, I can put some in.
yeah, if you could, it's normally the feedback when you're listening.
Yeah, no, sorry. Just give me a moment, please.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. But yeah, I'm getting a bit of feedback from your end as well. Have you got headphones on? Cheers, mate. No, headphones are normally it's when you're listening to it. So if there's like a slight delay, then you can
How
hear
is it now? How is it now?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
I mean, those are my three sort of favourite moments, I would say, and also, winning at Old Trafford and doing the double over United in 2007, 2008. That Benjani goal.
I'm surprised you haven't mentioned the 6-1 just to finish me off.
Yeah.
I completely forgot about 6-1 until you reminded me.
It's another double, wasn't it? That year?
For me, I've got two favourite moments right at Argyle. So I've got two now. You're not meant to have two, but I do have two for a reason. But before we get to mine, Luke saying my favourite football moment was the Super League fucking off. I can understand that. Big up to Belvishwan as well. So my first one is actually it's the first Devon derby that I remember watching. Like we had a few. We hadn't a great. Normally we had a great history against Exeter, but when we went into administration, lost all our money, lost all our players because Japanese owners are wankers. FYI. I don't like Japanese owners anymore. I have a strong hatred towards them. So if a Japanese ever comes anywhere near my club, unfortunately, that's when my post-trauma happens, and that's just not going to happen. I'm afraid. But for me, my first one is when we beat Exeter City 3-0. Now the reason this is so special is because Tyler Harvey was my favourite player. So he was the first player that I was like, oh my God, I love him. He's amazing, right? He came for our youth academy, he was so good. Unfortunately, the managers we had didn't really believe in playing youth, which was rather annoying. If Tyler Harvey broke in under Ryan Lowe, we'd be having a different story. He'll be up there probably still playing for our goal. He was that good. And I also remember because we had a free kick. And Tyler Harvey is the one who curled it into the top right-hand corner. I was like, oh, that is beautiful. I was stood in the Devonport end. We're all jumping up and down like mad then. I think Curtis Nelson got a goal as well. Like that is proper nostalgia. That was a really good one. And my second one is when we beat Portsmouth in the playoff semi-final. Now, if you have a spare 3 minutes, go to Plymouth versus Portsmouth match day moments. Then you want to go to around about the 12-minute mark. And that is when you are going to hear pure passion and emotion. Like it was absolutely incredible. Just the sound of home park. Like I was in the Devonport end. Just the sound of the entire home park stadium. The roof looked like it must have just come off because we scored, and I'm not joking when I say this. It was 0-0 in the first leg at Fratton Park. It was 0-0 for the 92 minutes at home park. We get a corner, so I think Jake Jervis, I think he headers it, and the keeper tips it over the bar. And I'm like, we're going to extra time. Oh my God, this is going to be horrific. We get a corner. We take it from the the right hand side. It's beautifully curled in onto Peter Hartley's massive, great big head. And all Peter Hartley has to do is stand there and allow the ball to go off his head and into the goal. And I swear, when that ball went into that net, just pure joy, emotion, tears. Like, I have never seen so many grown men crying their eyes out. Like, it was absolutely magical. pitch invasion, the lot. Like, we proper absolutely went through. It was absolutely beautiful. We won't talk about the playoff final because that was a completely different level of fish on a diabolical performance from Derek Adams, that Ford. But just that emotion in the semi-final was just beautiful. I've never felt emotion like that ever. Like, and I, unless there's another magical moment, right, like that where you're scoring in the 92nd minute, them things don't happen. Like, that doesn't normally happen. It's so rare that you win a playoff. And the fact that it's the Dockyard Derby, and the fact that it was 0-0 all the way through for 182 minutes, and then you finally break the thing in the last minute of the game. Nothing like that will ever happen at Home Park again for a long time. But that was beautiful. It was a beautiful moment, and it was at that time. I loved the club all the way back from I think 2013 when I went, or 2012, or something like that. It was fairly odd. That's when you first really started to remember. But it was at that moment I just that bond became unbreakable. There's at the time of me supporting Argyle, it had just been downhill. It had just been bullshit upon more bullshit upon more bullshit. It was just bullshit FC. But then it was at that moment I was like, oh, we're finally getting somewhere, and it was just it was beautiful. But put in the comments, what's your favourite moment you've had at your club? We've already got some here. DJ Sav saying one of my favourite moments, Steven Gerrard's slip and Denver scoring when Liverpool thought they were winning the league.
That's one of my
Luke saying, not really Arsenal ones, but some general football moments were Wigan's FA Cup win, Leicester's title win, Trippier's free kick. Well, two of them are in the background. Two of them are in the background, as you can see. A Trippier's free kick, I mean, that's not actually my best moment for England, but we'll get into that next. Actually, Luke's just led us onto a perfect one. So obviously, Matt, you're not going to do it for England. So what's your favourite moment of supporting Northern Ireland?
Getting into the last 16 of the Euros, which probably doesn't sound like much to some people, but that was massive for us. It was the first time we qualified for a major tournament in like 60 years or something. Getting to the last 16 of that was amazing. Beating Ukraine 2-0. I think it was Gareth McCauley that scored. And it actually was mental. It was actually really, like, for us as a country, it was massive.
Yeah.
Getting to the last 16.
That's fair. That I can understand that. Andrew, what's your favourite moment supporting England? Which, FYI, there's not been too many of them.
Euro 96 for me is what comes close.
I was 1 year old. I was 1 year old during that.
Just the whole real concept of it. That was sort of just support the nation. I've never seen anything like it, really. Even better than 2018, in my opinion. But yeah, just the performances, the Scotland, the Gaza goal against Scotland, where he looped it over Colin Hendry's head and smashed it past, the 4-1 demolition of Netherlands, which we hadn't beaten for a while actually, and then obviously that just the whole Germany game itself, the drama. Gaza studs away from getting us into a final, and just the whole mood. You know, it was very, being an England fan back then. It was like it was sort of pride. You know, with that 3 Lions song as well. That was an anthem.
Yeah. That is the most iconic England song ever.
I mean,
it's true. It's just the whole
most iconic football song ever.
One of them, just the whole thing. I've never enjoyed supporting England so much as in that tournament. Obviously nothing since has. Even 2018 doesn't come close. It doesn't come close to that.
Big up to Prime in the chat. How are you? And guys, if you want to get involved, if you want to tell us what your favourite moments are, the link is in the chat. Come on and have your thoughts. It's just light-hearted fun and a bit of banter. That's all we need. But Professor, what's your favourite moment as a England fan?
I mean, we've mentioned two of them already. What Andy said about Euro '96. I mean, that was the first time I really properly got into football, and the whole concept of it's coming home.
Yeah.
England started off slowly. Obviously, I remember that game against Switzerland. It was a boring game.
Yeah, it's boring.
The opening ceremony, if you want to call it that, was a bit pointless, but it was a boring game. But England got going, and they were just studs away from reaching the final. And I remember losing that game. That was the first time I literally ever cried after watching a football match.
Yeah.
And I, literally smashed a glass on the floor. So that was funny. And I remember immediately after that, the movie that they played on ITV was Rocky 3. So. And I got even. I'd never seen Rocky 3 before at that point, and I got upset. I got even more upset when Rocky's manager died. So it was a shit night all round, really.
Get up your bum.
Exactly. But other than that, I mean, I actually really enjoyed the 2002 World Cup. I mean, I have a bit of a personal family connection with Japan, so it was great. England playing in a World Cup abroad where the actual home fans got behind them as opposed to booing them.
Yeah, that's true.
There was all the drama, building up going into the World Cup about, first time we had a foreign manager, would David Beckham be fit? And, the group of death. And I think it was a real watershed moment for some of those players, for David Beckham scoring that penalty against Argentina, given 4 years ago, he, people held him responsible for us losing that game to Argentina in France. Michael Owen did well, even though he only scored one goal in the entire tournament. And, just like in 2018, England would have had a reasonably good draw to the final had they got past Brazil. And I think...
Damn those pesky Brazilians.
Exactly. Even to this day, I still think England were hard done by in that game. I think it took something completely freakish by, in my honest opinion, one of the greatest footballers of all time to undo England. And
are you talking about Luke Jepcott?
No, I'm afraid not.
Oh, then you're definitely not talking of the greatest footballer of all time, then.
But I think again. I'd watched World Cups before that, but that was the first time that I really, truly fell in love with the World Cup as a tournament as well. The 2002 World Cup, a lot of the underdog teams did very well in that as well. Teams like Senegal, teams like Turkey, South Korea. They're not. They're not. I mean, they're not really an underdog in anything. But even the United States, upsetting Portugal. It was a great tournament all round, and
Ronaldo's trying.
I can hear that. Some other ones here. DJ saying favorite moment. We'll get to that in a second. Favorite moment. Chelsea winning the Champions League in 2012. And being there with my dad watching us lift the trophy.
That must have been amazing.
That's fair. England have been so underwhelming since I've been alive.
Welcome to the club, Luke.
Yeah, it's okay. We'll feel that pain. Fine saying favourite moment. Eden Hazard spinning Coquelin, aka Cockblock, like a Beyblade. That is a good one. Beating Wales 2-1 at the 2016 Euros was limbs, to be fair. I'd agree with that. But yeah, what were you going to say, Professor?
No, I was going to say, imagine if Luke was born in 1967, then England have been underwhelming all the time.
Well, that would have been brutal, but...
I guess I have to mention one result for England in my lifetime. It's got to be the 5-1 away at Germany.
Oh yeah, that was
just that.
Oh, we beat England. David Haley scored a winner.
No, we don't talk about that.
I remember.
I forgot. Neither of you mentioned the one I'm about to mention, and it's sort of shocking. Winning our first ever penalty shootout, boys. I have never watched England actually put 5 balls in the back of the net for a penalty shootout and win it. Still haven't, of course, because of Jordan Henderson.
Yeah.
But just that pure emotion of that penalty shootout. The minute Hendo misses the penalty, and I'm there like, fuck, it happened again. I'm sat on a train at finishing work. I'm like, it's fucking happened again. It's bloody happened again. Are you taking the piss? I was like, Hendo, you're a twat. I hate Liverpool now. Do you know what? I hate you. I've had enough of my life. And then it was Eric Dyer that slotted it away to win us the penalty shootout. And I'll be honest. I celebrated on the train like I would in the stadium. I was jumping up and down, as were about 7 of us in that carriage anyway. It was late at night.
I'll tell you something. For me, the abiding memory from watching that game was Clive Tilsley's reaction. All he just screamed was yes down the microphone. He didn't say anything else. He just screamed. And you knew how emotionally invested not only we were at home, not only the England fans in the stadium, but even the broadcast team as well, just how emotionally invested they were in that.
Everyone. It was like, wasn't Gary Neville, Lee Dixon, Ian Wright just hugging each other, jumping up and down like madmen? Like, it was just the pure emotion of us. We had so many penalty shootouts. Southgate, obviously missing a penalty back in, I think, wasn't it 98 or something? 96, and all of that emotion. And then Gareth comes back as manager and walks us into a stadium. A penalty shootout, the sort of troubles that he had as a penalty shootout.
I mean,
and
Andy,
just
I was just going to say,
to finally do it, and just that emotion for me was, for England, unless we win something in my lifetime, which we better bloody do. I don't intend in packing it in for quite some years. I do expect us to win at least something before I die. For me, that is going to be one of the greatest moments in my life. Just that whole the penalty shootout and just the raw emotion of just that.
I just wanted to say, and I'm sure Andy will agree with me, something that would compare to that emotionally was Stuart Pearce's reaction when he scored his penalty at Euro '96.
Yeah.
You could just see from his emotion that it was like a weight had been lifted off his shoulders. 6
years of waiting to bang in a penalty, essentially.
Exactly, and top marks to him for stepping up to take a penalty.
That Southgate song as well, by turning Atomic Kitten into like Southgate, you turn me on. They were that summer. Like, we absolutely, if Harry Kane wasn't a twat, right? If Harry Kane wasn't a complete and utter wanker, right? and forever he shall be known as my agenda. Huge agenda towards that prick. I absolutely resent the cunt. Absolutely hate him. Like, I think I hate Harry Kane more than I hate Exeter City. Just that. Wow. I know Sterling would have fired it well over the bar, probably out of the country, but at least do the sensible thing and square the fucking ball. So forever of my life, Harry Kane best never touch that England job as manager, because I don't think I could support England ever again. Wow. But I hate him so much for it. I know I shouldn't, but it's just, don't just square it and we win the game, and then we turn the French into English stunners and we win our first World Cup. And I mean, Mbappe, mate, Harry Maguire would have had him, mate, back pocket stuff. Like, Harry Maguire would have been looking at that going, who the fuck is Mbappe? I'm Maguire.
I mean, it would have been a far better final than France versus Croatia, that's for one thing.
Exactly. Like, Harry Maguire looking at Mbappe going, who are you? Like, I'm sorry, but who are you? I'm Harry Maguire. I'm about to have you in my pocket.
I hate to say that.
Would it be at Manchester United now if that happened?
But I hate to say
it. He'd be back at Sheffield United, probably.
I hate to say it, though, I still think France would have probably won, even if England had gone to the final.
Nah. I've got it planned in my head. So Mbappe would be one-on-one with the keeper, but Harry Maguire would just hack him down, gets a red card. It's still 0-0 in the 93rd minute. We have a free kick on the edge of the area. Kieran Trippier, top right-hand corner, boom. The cup is coming home, boys. I had it planned in my head, mate. Kieran Trippier was our taker. He was genuinely I'm not even joking. Kieran Trippier was like one of our best free kick takers. But do you remember Roy Hodgson when we had like Harry Kane on corners or Rooney on corners? It was like in God's name.
I don't really want to remember Roy Hodgson's
Oh.
I was like, well, what the hell are we doing? Why is Harry Kane taking on? Boy, it was at that point I was like, okay, Roy Hodgson has completely lost his mind. Why is Harry Kane taking corners? I mean, it was an absolute car crash, that one. But these are happy memories. We try to remember.
He lost to a
memories.
supermarket chain anyway, did Roy Hodgson, so it's fine. Doesn't really matter.
Oh, it was, losing twice. And I mean, that's got to be one of the lows for me as an England fan.
Yeah.
Just I mean that's probably hand in hand with not even qualifying for the Euros in 2008 under McLaren.
Oh, Wally with the brolly.
Didn't we get who did we lose to that day?
Croatia 3-2.
Why is it always fucking Croatia?
I know, yeah.
So in 2008 we lose to bloody Croatia. In the World Cup we lose to bloody Croatia.
Yeah.
In the under 21s Euros we lose to guess who? Bloody Croatia.
Yeah.
I hate those. I hope and I mean this and I normally love most people, but I hate Croatians. Don't ever if you are Croatian, I'm sorry, but me and you are probably we're not gonna be friends. So I definitely won't be taking any
Here's new
holidays.
Plymouth goal manager, Haley from Croatia.
You know what I mean? Better fucking not.
Now would be a bad time to tell you that my grandfather was Croatian. No, I'm only joking.
If Argyle had a Croatian manager, I'm writing an email to Simon Hallett. Me and him are going to have strong words. Luke saying that Dyer penalty. Oh my days, of all people, Eric Dyer. Yeah, it was brutal. Big up to Gabrielle in the chat. Jack Wilson's brace in the 3-2 versus Slovenia was iconic.
I don't even remember. I
Is that memorable?
I didn't even know he scored for him.
I don't remember that game. That's not one of.
I
That's not what I
I
would.
don't watch the qualifiers. I watch England tournaments. I don't watch.
Oh no, I watch the qualifiers. I always watch qualifiers. Qualifiers pay.
That's our World Cup for us.
I just can't be bothered.
Well, no, because we're guaranteed to at least watch England win most of their games.
I know. It's to me the whole concept. I don't want to get around. But I've told you what I think about international football. They shouldn't play it during the season.
There's nothing wrong with England. There's nothing wrong with England versus San Marino. It's the most iconic game of all time.
They should shorten all the seasons so that their qualifiers all in May. Do you know what I mean? Just have it then.
Or just give England an automatic bye to the final.
Because then I don't have to watch them.
Yes.
Just the way they should do it is they should just give the people you just know are going to qualify a bye.
Yeah.
And then just make all the minnows like Wales fight for their place.
You know they're going to qualify because of the groups they get.
So
what's the point?
I've got a fantastic idea of how
to do United Kingdom Super League. United Kingdom Super League.
Oh, don't say Super League. That's a dirty word. All right.
I've got a fantastic idea of how to revamp the World Cup. Just get 16 or 20 of the elite international teams to qualify automatically, and invites about 8 other teams every few years or so to try and in a promotion relegation style system. But those England, Brazil, Argentina never get relegated.
Those 16 teams have a 23-year agreement not to be out.
Exactly. And,
where the hell are you getting this idea from? I don't think I've ever heard of it.
Well, no, basically, I went to take a massive dump this morning, and No, I don't think Gandhi was a football fan, to be honest. But I mean, it just came to my mind, and I thought, what a brilliant idea to create a Super League.
How inspired! That's not going to upset anyone. That thought.
I know. It's,
you're saving football. You're saving
exactly,
football, and not lining your pockets financially to save your own neck.
Exactly. It's not about the extra 300 million or 400 million or whatever that England are going to get.
Luke saying San Marino should play Sunday League sides to get some confidence.
Well, they're the same level, aren't they? Really?
I mean, maybe just like maybe I mean, I swear they lost to Gibraltar, which is quite a low point in summary.
I mean, they've never won a game in their history. The best result they ever got was a 1-1 draw with Luxembourg.
When you lose to a rock, that's very bad.
I mean, it is peak. But no, I mean, have you heard this lovely idea for a British Super League? It's absolutely brilliant. I love the idea. What a great idea. Why did I think of it myself?
Unbelievable.
So we literally spent 2 days fighting these tossers to stop a European one. Now they're like, fuck it, we'll just go for an even worse idea and just go fight with Celtic and Rangers. I mean, really, guys? Is this our level?
I don't mean to bring this up on a live stream. You do know the outlay of this says ref's view at the top, right?
Oh, nice.
So
I can change that to what should we change it to? I've got plenty of them. Let's
change it to this.
we have him as we have. That is Sulz Elizabeth II.
Good lord.
It's a lizard Sulz. That's what it is. It's a
lizard Sulz. But yeah, I mean, some great moments there on England anyway. But
I mean, to be fair, there aren't that many great moments for England. I mean, you
didn't really need to say that out loud, did you? I think we all understand there's not been many great moments, but we like to cherish the good moments. But moving on, what's everyone's favourite moment in the Champions League? Like, it could be anything. It could be Terry slipping on his ass. It could be winning the treble. It could be Nottingham Forest winning it. I'm not alive for that. But what's your favourite moment in the Champions League? Matt, we'll start with you on this one.
Do you have to be alive?
No, you don't have to. You don't have to be alive.
Okay, the show scorers won it, and Sheringham goal as well. So 99 final, obviously for me.
Yeah,
I probably didn't need it. It's like the Aguero moment for him. Didn't really need to say it, but definitely the best thing that's ever happened in our club's history.
That makes sense. What about you, Andrew?
Yeah.
There's so many, man. I'm going to pick one for Chelsea, just one personal one. For me, I've already said my favourite moment, so I'm not going to choose that. Another one would be when we beat Arsenal in the second leg. Only because I've never seen us. Before that time, we don't really beat Arsenal in the league. We haven't beaten them for ages. We only beat them in a League Cup semi-final second leg in '98. Before that, we hadn't, and it wasn't like a smash and grab. We deserved to win that one, but that's when sort of our inferior complex about not beating Arsenal broke that season in the quarterfinal.
How about the 08 final?
How about what?
How about the 08 final?
Shut up. Yeah. Should have won that as well, but we didn't. But personally, for me, my favourite moment is a goal, and that's Zidane's goal in the 02 final. Hamden against Bayern Leverkusen. Zidane's one of my favourite all-time players. Just favourite, and the way he just made, he just made it just effortless. The way he just swiveled and hit that on the volley, top corner. It's one of the best goals I've ever seen, and to do it in a European Cup final just made it even more special. For me,
what do you expect Professor to say? Just
I don't know, but I like that one. So. I know. You might have go on, Professor. What's your favourite ones?
Well, I mean, from a City perspective, we don't really have any. I suppose the victory over Real Madrid last season, but as I said,
that's big.
Champions League hasn't been kind to us as a competition, but hopefully that might change come end of the season. In general, I would probably say
it has to be in general.
Yeah, thanks for reminding me. I'll say Liverpool's win in 2005. I thought it was a remarkable turnaround in that game. To be effectively completely outclassed in that first half.
Oh,
literally from the word go. They were completely overturned. They were completely outclassed. And then, you know, what they must have said to each other at half time and turned it around completely. You know, that double save by Dudek.
Oh, man, I'm glad you said that, man. So many people forget that. So many people forget that double save.
You know, as much as I might detest Liverpool now, you know, I was pleased for them to win that night. I think it was a remarkable turnaround, and I think anybody who ever watched that game, you'll never forget it for the rest of your life.
I was 10.
Yeah, that's because they never let us forget it.
I was 9 going on 10.
Was that 2005? I was 4.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
I was 4.
Other than that, you know, in terms of other Champions League moments, I suppose Madrid winning 3 in a row was, I mean, the games themselves weren't particularly.
I'm not gonna lie. Watching Liverpool fans suffer that final was quite.
Yeah, that was entertaining. That was entertaining.
The way they were singing, and Karius throws the ball off Benzema's knee, and there's just silence from that end.
And I think, you know, both of Barcelona's victories, again, no bias, but both of Barcelona's victories in the competition under Pep, I think.
Fuck off.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. Against United. But yeah, those are my favourite Champions League memories.
There's so many. Man.
Yeah, no, look, there is. I mean, for me, I wasn't really able to comprehend what football looked like, but Nottingham Forest winning it probably seems like a great love story. The treble, Liverpool in 2005. Fergie in 2008, when that's the year that I proper started to really. I'd always loved football, but it was that is my biggest memory since I was born. Is watching that on ITV with my mum and dad and my annoying brother. But yeah, they were good memories. Recently, Liverpool getting their asses handed to them on a plate by Real Madrid. That Tottenham when they beat Ajax with Lucas Moura.
Yeah.
Then unfortunately knocking City out and seeing Pep on his knees begging for forgiveness.
Not unfortunately. It wasn't unfortunately.
But I mean, okay, Pep on his knees begging the Lord for forgiveness because he's not sure what he had done to deserve such a thing. What else was there?
Ronaldo's hat trick against United, 4-3, knocking United out.
I don't know.
2002. 2003 is it? Yeah.
Well, I was like 7.
He got when he was taken off. When he was taken off, he got a standing ovation from even the Man United fans because he was unplayable.
Didn't Beckham get like a standing ovation when he went back with AC Milan? It was
that's because we won.
But Ronaldo, not Cristiano Ronaldo, R9 Ronaldo.
No.
I remember the.
I know that, but what I was on about was obviously that was at the point where the green and yellow scarf. Proper that thing, and he picked one up, put it around his neck, and all of that. Yeah. Really symboling you Glazers.
Smart.
Yeah, you Glazers. Well, no, I genuinely feel that he wanted the Glazers gone because Beckham and Neville and all they have that love for United. They went through the youth. I mean, Argyle don't really have much of a history in the Champions League. Really? We don't even have history in the top flight. So I suppose my greatest, my greatest moment is winning it on Football Manager. That is, I've had some iconic nights in the Champions League on Football Manager.
As far as I'm aware, didn't United play their UEFA Cup game at Home Park in the 80s or something because they were banned from playing at Old Trafford? For some reason.
I don't know.
I can double check that, but I don't think so because back then we were really far away from. Well, not back then. We're still very far away from the entire country, but I can double check.
I mean, you have to take a dog sled team to get to Plymouth someday.
Do you not live at like the end of the country? Do you not live at like the end of England with all the beaches and stuff?
No, it's weird. It's weird. It takes you quicker to take a train to France and back. To get to Plymouth.
Actually, here we go. Right, I've never known this, so I'm learning something. How Manchester United ended up facing Saint Etienne in Plymouth because of a riot. Violence at the 1977 Cup Winners' Cup tie between Saint Etienne and United led to an order the second leg be played at least 200 km from Old Trafford, hence why they chose home park. The last time St Etienne was supposed to play at Old Trafford, they ended up in Plymouth, but only after routes to London, Scotland, Northern Ireland was shut. United had been banned from playing at home, but not from playing at home park, where the match was declared a triumph. Not because United won 2-0, but because it was unfolded without a bloody riot, unlike the first leg in France 3 weeks before. We're talking September 1977, a time where St Etienne was slipping out of the golden age, and English football was in the throes of an era of glory and beauty on the pitch. Mayhem, violence, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, in 1977, home park.
I like this channel. You always learn something. And yesterday, you told me Bayern Munich had a basketball team.
Yeah,
which I didn't know.
And Real Madrid do. Real Madrid do as well.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm always learning something on this channel.
AC Milan are called AC Milan because the A stands for Association Football, which is the proper name for football, and the C for cricket.
Yeah, that's why they got the.
Which is why they've got to say. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's why they've got
flag,
to say
yes.
George's Cross in there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
See, I never realised United had to play at home park because they couldn't stop riots. Damn you, Mancunians! Plymouth being obviously the beautiful place in England. Big up to Russ.
The home of football.
Chelsea was one of my favourite in recent years. 4-4.
Yeah.
I hear that.
I mean, I went to that 4-2 Barcelona game when we beat them 4-2. I mean, that was pretty. I mean, I probably told you this before now. That Ronaldinho goal, and he's doing a little jig, and it goes in. It took us. I was behind that goal. It took us about 5 seconds to realise that he'd scored. Because the stadium, no one realised until Peter Cech picked the ball out the back of the net. What? What? How did the ball physically get there? Because he literally did a toe punch scoop, and it went and it killed. It was like, what? It's 1-0. It's 2-2. What's going on here? I don't understand.
Such a great moment. But what's everyone's? Oh yeah, carry on.
Yeah, Porto winning it, and that was the making of Jose, in my opinion. And I love Jose as a manager. Yeah. I love Jose.
See, I really. What's this love with Jose? I really don't like him.
I love him.
I call him Jose Bin Laden for a bloody reason.
I've always liked him. When he was at Chelsea, I liked him. He's hard not to like. You can't hate the guy.
Although, to be fair, KJ from the Football Terrace is entirely at fault for me calling Jose firstly a terrorist and B Bin Laden.
I think no, it's if Jose Mourinho manages your club, you go under what I call an indoctrination process.
Oh right.
And because he builds
those Tottenham fans haven't been through the process.
Because he usually builds a siege mentality of you against the rest, which he used to do magnificently up until probably United. I would say.
He's done it quite well at United as well.
Yeah, but then it wore off very quickly.
Yeah.
To be fair, Jose should have been with that siege mentality. Jose should have been absolutely fucking perfect for United. Well, everyone's against us. Everyone hates us. Let's stick together. It just never really got off the ground.
Well, I think with us, it wasn't us as fans that turned on him in the first stint. It was the board and Roman. And then I think the only two clubs he's really walked away from where there's no issues, and I'm only guessing here, is Porto and Inter Milan.
No, we didn't want him out. We didn't want him out.
I think there was a big section that turned on him after you went out against
there was
Sevilla.
A huge
against Sevilla
section.
in the Champions League.
Oh yeah, United wanted Jose out though.
In the third season,
the third season, there was
nobody wanted him out. Everyone realised it was Woodward's fault. They didn't really do it.
Yeah, but was it Woodward's fault? Because you look at
because
what
we don't have a
Ollie's
centre
no,
back.
because if you look at what Ollie's achieved at United. Now I'm not trying to say that Ollie's better than Jose. I mean that's without saying. But but you look at what Ollie's managed to achieve with Ed Woodward. You have to ask: was Jose just the wrong manager at the wrong time?
Very much so. Very much so. He wanted to go in there. He wanted to go there in 2013 after Sir Alex
He
Ferguson
cried.
left.
Do you not hear he cried when
Yeah, he
David Moyes
cried.
got
He
the
didn't
job?
get the wish. He then got the job.
He had to go
Like
to
you say,
Chelsea again, the poor guy.
Wrong time.
The poor guy
Um,
to Chelsea again.
I just never understand why you wouldn't.
I don't know why you pick.
Maybe
wrong setup.
Why the hell you would pick David Moyes over Jose Mourinho? In what?
We also
in
had Carlo
what?
Ancelotti and Pep.
In what bloody you did? But in what bloody universe is that the idea you want to go down?
It's very strange. I mean,
I can imagine Fergie went to a board and went Pep, Klopp, Jose, Carlo Ancelotti. One of them four. Just pick one of them four and you'll be fine. And them going.
Ferguson was the one that wanted Moyes.
Ferguson picked Moyes.
No. Yeah. David Moyes was 5th on the list. He's 5th on.
No,
so basically,
Fergie's recommendation.
No.
So
that's not the thing. I actually looked into it. Fergie gave him a list of 5 managers.
Right.
He listed it in order of suitability, I believe. And then, because David Moyes was at the bottom of the list, I'm presuming the cheapest, they went for Moyesy.
Yeah, because you probably say, you'd probably go, who's Klopp?
I think
we don't know who Klopp is. Pep's signing up for Bayern Munich. Ancelotti's going to Real Madrid.
Ross saying Jose achieved more than Ollie. Look, if Ollie wins the Premier League and the Europa League, then you can't use that stat against me.
It's when.
I don't know. I mean, you're most likely going to win the Europa League, but Premier League is a bit of a shout.
And plus, I think the board saw that he spent a lot of time at Everton, and they wanted to like redo. They thought he was an Alex Ferguson regen. Let's be honest. They thought, oh, he's Scottish. He spent loads of time at one club.
Is Ollie the Fergie regen? Everything he says just is so Fergie. You think about, and I mean, a few weeks ago he's there like, yeah, we just changed all the red stuff around the stadium and put black in because the players couldn't really see each other, and I was like, that is so Fergie with the grey kits.
He even checks his watch. He checks his watch as well.
Yeah, it was. I think it was against Southampton where Edison Cavani gets that last-minute equaliser, and Ollie's there looking at his watch, going, I wonder. Fergie told me if I look at my watch, the referee understands, and then you're like.
Ferguson even said he didn't even have any reason to look at the watch. He just done it for effect, and it worked.
He puts that pressure on, doesn't he? It's like, guys, where time is ticking down, and I'm looking at my watch. But with Fergie, it was that mentality, wasn't it? When you got to Fergie time, there was no Fergie time, right? Let's get that clear. But it's that mentality of you're at Old Trafford. Oh my God, it's late in the game. They're gonna score. That we can't
never
stop.
Give
It's
up
Fergie time.
Yeah,
and I just a bit like that siege mentality at the end. Let's just do it. But Ollie does seem to have a little bit of Fergie in him, and that's the question: is Ollie the Fergie regen? Andrew, we'll start with you. Is little Ollie Gunnar Solskjaer, the baby assassin, the Sir Alex Ferguson regen?
But they hope not.
Only coming from an outsider.
You can give me 2 answers. You can give me the hope not and the yes.
Well, I hope he is, because I don't think he can. I think there's a very hard concrete ceiling for Ollie that he can't get through, because every time he's gone on a bad run, whenever he's needed to win, whenever you think they're going to sack him after this, they're going to like Ollie Altus, they're definitely going to sack him after this game. He wins and then goes on a run. I mean, only people can say Ollie out now The guy's lost one game in 25, and still people are saying Ollie out. Like extreme Ollie outers are going, no, he still can't take his. You lost one. You are clear in second, right? You're clear in second. He's going to have the best finish since Sir Alex Ferguson in the Premier League. Okay, since Fergie left, and he's going to have 2 seasons in a row, which no one else is able to achieve when you finish in the top 4, right? So coming out, I understand people's frustrations though, because there is still, even I would have doubts. I have doubts about him that he's the man to take him there. So when they said they were going to give him a new deal about a month ago, I was all for him signing it. Sign, as people are saying, sign the thing. Just sign it, yeah. Just get it done. Because I had our Ollie thing. Lampard, it was done out the door. Arteta's still at Arsenal, brilliant. Keep Arteta there, brilliant. Keep him there.
But there's a difference with Ollie. Ollie seems to be actually achieving at United, and it is mad. You look at what
we have to remember he's been in management for 10 years. They've been in combined like 4. So like he's not.
It's why I actually found it really insulting that people used to compare Ollie, Lampard, and Arteta.
Yeah, I did as well.
Yeah. Two of them have never managed in their fucking lives, and one of them has been a manager for 10 years.
Yeah, but I found it the opposite. I was like, but you're Lampard is only a year in. You're comparing to some guys who've been in management for 10 years. I mean, who else does that? You know what I mean? The same with Arteta. I was like the opposite, going, why are you comparing them? You're only comparing them because basically you're showing your ignorance because you haven't looked into Solskjaer's managerial
record. Comparing Graham Potter
because he only managed in Norway and 6 months at a doomed Cardiff. Do you know what I mean? It's like you dismiss it.
It's like comparing Graham Potter to fucking Jurgen Klopp. It's absolutely shocking. As Ross saying, he's literally won nothing. But context is needed.
He's won 3 trophies in Norway.
Well, there is that as well. But
you're on back-to-back leagues.
There is context needed. Yes, United he hasn't won, but are they playing better football? Yes. Is the identity there? Yes. Is there a clear idea on where United want to go with Ollie? You have to say yes. So, whilst he hasn't won anything yet, I also think that this is the most successful manager United have had. Not in terms of trophies. I mean, if you just want to look at trophies and stats, then that's cool with me. But you have to look at other things. So you have to look at the squad.
Yeah, the academy graduate as well,
which is true. Are the youth getting played? Yes, that is true. And are United, and when I say more successful, I mean, have they consistently got top 4? Yes. Are they winning games? And I mean, the comebacks are absolutely
extraordinary.
Incredible.
Their away record, they're undefeated for over a year.
Yeah.
Like
these things add up. It won't be long for me. I think he wins Europa League this year. I do. I think he wins.
They're favourites. They have to win it.
If he wins that, do you think people are gonna look at it and give him a bit of cut him a slack?
One thing, the monkey's off the back from winning the trophy, so you can't even slam that in before. 2 things. The argument I always hate is, he doesn't have tactics. No, it's that you don't like his tactics. That's the argument. If he wins this and finishes second, behind a City, I know they were top in January, and 21 is coming, all that bullshit. But I know, and even proper United fans didn't believe it was on. But if they finish second if they win Europa League, finish second. If they finish a close second, and for them it would be maybe under 10 points to City possibly. Then that's a magnificent season for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Absolutely magnificent season.
Yeah, go on, man.
We've also got the same amount of points as we did last season at this stage.
Yeah. Well, I think you're ahead. Yeah, I think you're ahead of it now. I think you've beaten Burnley.
We're
right, and he's confident. Obviously, he's going to beat that record. Ross saying, what's he built? He's got 2 shit centre backs, and who's even their best front 3? Who is their number 1?
Second in the league, bro. Clear second in the league.
You've actually just proved how well Ollie's done, because
That's such a stupid comment.
He's working with two shit centre backs, and he hasn't even got a number one striker. He's playing Mason Greenwood. Well, actually, the way Ollie's doing it, right?
Yeah.
Is you've got there's no one denying that you need a better centre back. I think everyone is in agreement.
Yeah.
Obviously, to partner Harry Maguire, if you could actually get someone to partner Harry Maguire, someone who's vocal, someone who's quick, then you do change that. And that back four actually looks bloody good. Wan-Bissaka, one of the best right backs for defensive abilities anyway. Luke Shaw is turned into one of the best left backs in the world.
Resurrected.
Small Dini.
Exactly. Like, and if you add that centre back, that back line just gets so much better. And the front three, for me, if they get Sancho, for me next season, the front three is Rashford, Greenwood, Sancho.
Oh, and did you also see the lineup he was using before Bruno Fernandes came? He was using Andres Pereira in the team.
Oh,
exactly.
man. Jesus, yeah.
And it was actually Ollie that brought in Bruno. So you have to give Ollie credit for bringing in Bruno. You have to give Ollie for bringing in Wan-Bissaka. You have to give Ollie credit for the Luke Shaw and the development that we've seen under Luke Shaw.
He's one of the best man managers in the league as well.
Yeah, so if you take that, if you go back to his, if you go back to his statement, so Russ has said, and I respect what Russ says, but if you look at Russ's statement, he's got shit centre backs. Who's even the best front three, and who is their number one striker? But then you say to someone, this guy's clear second in the league and in the semi-finals of European competition, you would say that those two don't correlate with each other? Do you know what I mean? How does that? It doesn't correlate. So you can't say he hasn't built anything or he's a rubbish manager, because if he's got shit centre backs, doesn't even know his front three and doesn't even know number one striker, but still second and a clear second as well, not just like battling for second. He's a clear second. He's not worried about a top four race this season. Then you can't say he's not doing a good job.
Most proper fans have got our club identity back and everything with the way he's playing and the way he's bringing you.
Russ saying, what are his final point tallies since he's joined? I'm on my phone, so can't check. So he's literally for the last two seasons, 66 points.
Yeah,
which ain't great, but don't forget his first season, he had to take a Mourinho side that was 7th up to 3rd with 66 points. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Then his first season he finished 6th, didn't he? And then his second season he got and then his second season his first full season he got 3rd with 66 points.
Yeah.
At this current stage, he's on 66 points where they've got, I think, 6 games to go. Yeah. So he's obviously going to go way past that. I would expect him to reach. Yeah, I expect around about the 80-point mark would be. But you have to say, if they get 80 points, that's on par by one less point than Jose Mourinho.
80 points sometimes wins you the league in the Premier League.
Yeah.
It wins you the league.
He's saying
the lowest points tally anyone's won the league, I think, was 78 or 79, which was United.
That was a treble, wasn't it?
That was a treble winning season. Well, they got more points the following season and the season after that.
Okay, you can't answer with if they get. Well, okay then. So right now,
what's Tickler achieved?
Okay, so right now their back four is Lindelof and Maguire, which is very slow, but he's managing to work well with that. Their number 9 striker is Edison Cavani for big games. If they're not playing a big game, they put they chuck in Mason Greenwood on the right, and if they're not playing big games, then Greenwood goes up top with either Dan James or Pogba on the wing.
But we're not. I don't think anyone answered. I don't know if they did. Sorry, but I didn't answer if they get. I said the facts that currently.
I said their best front three would be Sancho.
But we also answered currently right now. If you're saying 2 shit centre backs, doesn't know his front three and hasn't got number one striker, he's clear in second. He's clear. Yeah. It's not even close in second. No one's battling for second.
I know the
semi-final, and he's in a European semi-final. I
know the semi-final thing's a bit of a joke, but getting to 5 semi-finals is pretty impressive as well. When you think
and context also needed for that. You've faced Manchester City twice. You've then faced the owners of the Europa League with Sevilla. So they own the Europa League. Like they literally, that is their tournament. You don't mess with them on that. Like for me, and yeah, okay, he should have beat Chelsea in that semi-final, but we all had them off days.
At the Gea mistake and Maguire mistake.
Exactly. But
didn't you beat City 3 times last season? You beat us in the cup.
Exactly.
You beat us twice in the league.
And he beat Chelsea 3 times out of 4 last season.
I'm also pretty sure that Ollie's got the best record against Pep than any other manager.
Solve him.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Pep's not. He only. How many times has he beaten him? What? Maybe once or twice.
City have a bad record against.
It's astonishing.
It's actually quite interesting that Ollie has got Pep's number. He just genuinely does. Like, and every manager has that bogey team. Like under Fergie, it was Pep, right? Ollie seems to have conquered Pep. Like Ollie's conquered.
It's amazing,
Pep.
right? You think of Guardiola's esteemed career. One of the managers that he's going to most defeats against is going to be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
It's remarkable. Which is why I do really respect Ollie. Massive credit for Luke Shaw, obviously. Not just Luke Shaw, Rashford's coming into one of the best primes. Pogba, Greenwood. He's even got McTominay and Fred playing good football. I mean, Jesus Christ.
I just wanted to make a comment. Even though I'm not a big fan of Solskjaer myself, but somebody said something about criticising him that his previous success and trophies were in Norway. I mean, every manager's got to start somewhere, so you can't really hold that against him.
Klopp started at Mainz.
Before he came, they didn't win the league for 10.
We hired a manager who won the World Cup. You know what I mean? Who didn't do well, so you know.
Yeah, and you also look at what. The difficulties is every manager starts at a small place. Pep started at Barcelona B. Klopp started at Mainz. Tuchel, I don't know where Tuchel started. I mean, Fergie started at Aberdeen, didn't he?
He started at Mainz as well.
Yeah,
Tuchel,
it's just.
Niall, we hired Di Matteo in the middle of the season. What he won before that? He managed West Brom. He managed West Brom. That was it.
And that's the thing. How many points did Mourinho get? Mourinho in his last season when he came second got 81 points.
Well,
so
that was a shit team.
Also, let's add a bit of context because Russ knows I love a bit of context into this. Mourinho's been a manager for about 20, 30 years. He's been a manager for 10 years.
And De Gea had the season of his life as well that season.
And this is Ollie's first elite job, so a bit of slack doesn't he cut him there. Tuchel's got a semi-final within a few months.
Fair. That's fair. Tuchel's turned us around as well. Tuchel's done a great job.
Tuchel's done a great job, but
he's had Porto with Atletico Madrid.
Yeah, but you can't say.
I know. I'm not.
You can't do that because it's like everyone thought we'd get knocked out by Atletico Madrid, even when we hired Tuchel. So you can't. Now it's like, now they're the European burn.
Russ saying Fred has been so inconsistent. Russ, I'm not sure if you're trying to back my point that Ollie's doing a great job, or if you're, I don't know what you're fighting.
Russ keeps making arguments, but they're like, it's a
they're backing my arguments. It's so let's add this up. So he's got 2 bad centre backs. He's got an inconsistent Fred. He's got a number. He hasn't got a strong number 9 to take that spot by himself. I mean, I'm not your friend, but Russ knows I love him and he's absolutely brilliant. But I'm not sure if he's trying to back my argument.
I will say though, he's got to. I know what you're saying. It was good that he got them to 5 semi-finals and all that.
He does have to.
He's got to get them over the semi-final line. He's got to get them over that, or else he's always going to. Or else, unfortunately. Yeah, unfortunately, it's like, it's another semi he's failed at.
Yeah.
He's got to get them over that.
Yeah, but even if Solskjaer didn't win anything this season, he's not going to get fired.
Oh, no, I don't think he... No, they're talking about giving him a new contract.
It'd be ridiculous to fire him.
It'd be stupid.
Yeah.
So, who here... you said Ollie had done a good job with Fred. No, that's not what I said. I said he's got Fred. I said he's got Fred and McTominay playing good football, which in a degree they do relatively play good football.
Last season, Fred was one of our best players.
Yeah,
he was until he got injured.
It's also not Ollie's fault that Fred can't play a 2-yard pass, but I didn't say that he had done a good job with Fred. I said that
we all know he's from Macclesfield anyway. He's not a real position. He's from Macclesfield, so we all know.
Like Fred is an anomaly. But look at McTominay this season, 9 goals in all comps from Scotland.
Alex Ferguson praising him recently, McTominay.
He used to be a number 9. He used to be a number 9.
Yeah, and McTominay used to be a striker. Do you reckon you might
No.
You listed Fred when you were talking about other players.
He did improve, Fred.
Well, he has improved, Fred. Like, Fred isn't the greatest player. I think everyone here accepts that.
We should change the name of this conversation to "Let's Talk About Fred."
No, let's not. Let's not, please.
And this is the beauty of having a show like this. We can just be genuinely talking about anything. Like, we've obviously ended up at United and Ollie, and that's the beauty of this show. This is what this show is going to be about. Just talking random stuff and seeing where the conversation takes us. But yeah, no, he has improved, Fred. But yeah, of course, Fred isn't a good player. You're just backing up my argument. Yeah. That's why I brought him up. Yeah, look, I hear why you brought him up, but he has improved, Fred. But who here thinks Ollie's going to win a trophy this season?
I think they are favourites in the Europa League. They have to win it. They're the best team. They're the best team left in the Europa League. There's no severe that can upset them. Anything like that. I watched that Roma Ajax game. Roma are not good defensively. Okay, they are not good defensively at all. And you can say what you want about United's defence. It is actually one of the strongest in the league. If you look at the records, even with Maguire and Lindelof. So
I think it's because of the way Ollie sets up with that double pivot in front.
I watched that. Listen, Roma have got some weapons. They're not the Roma. They're not Roma as everyone thinks they are. Yeah, they're not that. They're Roma in name only. Like I said, that game against Ajax, they were very open. Ajax opened them up, and this is not a good Ajax team either. So I think the teams left in it. I've got no problem. I have no doubt that Man United get to the final. It's the other semi-final that I want for banter's sake. The good evening man going back and sending out Arteta.
Well, that's obviously the one that I want to. Obviously, I'm going to watch both. I'll have both. Obviously, good evening's going to walk out with a steel chair and start smacking Arteta around like an abused wife. But
you going to do a watch along? I think a watch along would be good for the final if we do.
Oh yeah. If there's a final, I'm going to see if I can
be able to have this on all the time. I'll still get through. You know, to that all the time. This be Niall's thumbnail.
But FYI, if it's an Arsenal United final, I am milking your clubs for as much as I can, because there's going to be previews. There's going to be like on the day a preview. There's going to be like 7 match reactions.
Tactics,
a fucking watch along. Board. Yeah, everything. Like we're going to do a let's talk
on the referee, where the referee's life story.
We are literally, I am milking that final for as much as humanly
combined
possible.
11.
Combined 11. We'll be doing all of them. But who do you think's gonna? So I think we're all in agreement that United should get to the final. Most probably will. But who do you think they're?
Listen. Football's the only game in sport in the world where it likes to give some type of payback. The football gods just somehow they give payback, and Emery's a good manager. Okay, he was in charge for a couple of those severe.
I'm not saying
I think he is. I think he's underrated. I think he's. Oh no. I think he's underrated. But for football banter, I think, and I do really think this. I think Villarreal will beat Arsenal, and it will be glorious. Glorious, absolutely glorious.
Do you know how excited I am for that match reaction? Because I literally, because they're going to be played at the same time, I'm going to have, as we normally do for Europa Leagues, obviously with 2 English clubs, both at the same time. We're going to have an ecstatic RJ, a really happy Matt, and all of that. Then you're going to have Sulz going, fucking hate Arsenal, fucking good evening, bullshit. And all. Oh, Sulz is going to be absolutely raging.
If he does that, I mean, the Arsenal fans have been that. I don't know if Arsenal Twitter, they'll probably be put into a coma. That'll probably be the one game when they go, no, this can't happen, and then you won't hear from anyone for a couple of days if they go out. No, that's my wish. I think Arsenal might actually still come through that. Actually, if I'm being honest.
I really don't. I really like this Villarreal team. I love the idea of Unai Emery coming back to the Emirates and showing Arteta how it's done. Like, just for pure banter, I think it would be hilarious. Ross saying, when was the last time United beat Arsenal? It was
in a cup. It was in a cup.
Oh, well, there you go then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Also,
yeah,
if we're talking about the loss this season, if you didn't have Pogba trying to do defence, then you probably draw that.
Yeah.
Pogba as a DM is really never a smart idea. Like that is.
Yeah. It's not like Pirlo as a DM. Do you know what I mean? It's a different type. Do you know what I mean? It's like Pirlo as a DM is a quarterback as a DM instead of Pogba who wants to take the ball on and run.
Pogba's a showman. He's not a workhorse.
Yeah, exactly. Or he's like spraying passes like Pirlo.
Yeah. Also, Pogba can't defend to save his life. But
No.
But what I want to talk about next is arguably the most romantic Premier League story we've ever had in the history of the Premier League, and that is Leicester. I think no, that for me that's not really a love story apart from a shit ton of put into the Etihad. I'm joking, but no, the biggest love story. It has to be Leicester winning the title. Claudio Ranieri. Then they had Bocelli. Is it Bocelli singing or serenade? Can't pronounce the word. And just singing to them at the King Power. I mean,
Jimmy Vardy's having a party. Jimmy Vardy's having a party and all that.
That has got to go down in the history as the best ever season, right?
Even when Chelsea beat Tottenham, they were singing. They were singing after Leicester when they drew Tottenham. Drew Tottenham 2-2. I remember that.
Let me jump in with a question. Why do we never consider Blackburn's win in '95?
Because I was
it's a generation and YouTube weren't around then. That's why. No,
also, if we're talking about that, I wasn't born then. I was born 2 months after they won it.
I'll tell you why it's different as well, because I watched I'm old enough to remember Blackburn's thing. Blackburn's different to Leicester. Blackburn. Everyone will say, "Oh, Chelsea the first money cup." Blackburn were the first ones to spend big to win the Premier League. They were at that economy's rate. Obviously,
that was still an extraordinary moment.
Oh yeah, it was. But what I'm saying is,
Alan Shearer coming to the fore as the great player.
Professor, if you probably looked at the odds though, between Blackburn winning the title then and Leicester winning it, there's no way they're the same. I agree. I think Blackburn had finished second the season before, right? They were the main challengers to United at that time. So
it's just in the period since Leicester have won the title.
Yeah,
Leicester have at least, they've not come close to winning the title since they've not even qualified for the Champions League.
A couple of top four runs.
They stayed consistent. Blackburn.
Yeah, I mean Blackburn.
Except for winning the Champions League. Except for winning the Premier League. Blackburn didn't really do anything after that. I mean, they completely bombed in the Champions League.
Liverpool.
I think it's where Leicester came from. They were 20th in the league the season before. The Great Escape and everything. It's just the fact that they won the league the next season.
I think you put the Great Escape with Ranieri winning the title. I mean, just everything, and the fact that Vardy had just broke onto the scene and all of that, and the way
11 games in a row scoring record he broke.
Yeah,
and the way he came from non-league.
Yeah, he started in like tier 8. Like I think when you just add them all up, it just makes that just such a historic moment. And the fact that back, and I don't mean to discredit what Blackburn did. What they did is obviously a monumental achievement. But the fact that Leicester managed to break into the top 6 and all of that and go on and win it and all of that, just I think everything when you add it all up, and the fact that when I was born 2 months after Blackburn won it. I was like 21 or something when Leicester won it. So that was at the time, barring what Florentino Perez thinks, that was a time that I was watching all my football and really invested into football. Obviously, these 18 to 24-year-olds don't watch football, but that was at the moment. I loved it.
If you remember now, what's fascinating about that season, I think they were 10 points ahead with 5 games to go, but no one was going. They're going to win the title. No one was going. They're going to win the title. Spurs are going to catch them up. Spurs. They were focused on Spurs winning their first title.
Yeah,
Leicester will drop away. Leicester will drop away. They just didn't.
Then you had Ranieri talking about taking his entire team out for pizza if they win it.
Billabong, you know, whatever is that?
Dilly ding.
And
Dilly ding dong, that's it, Dilly dong.
And Ranieri was just someone you couldn't hate. Like, I think everyone loved Ranieri.
I love him.
Like, talking about managers you just can't hate. And I don't think there's anyone who actually can hate Ranieri.
No.
Yeah, I agree.
No, what was fascinating when they hired him, that it was out of the blue because Nigel Pearson had just pulled off a great escape, and I think there was something that happened with allegedly
he should get
with
credit for
Nigel
that as well,
Pearce's son was on the staff or something. Something happened in that afterwards, and that's how he left. But Ranieri came in. Leicester was still one of the favourites to go down when he.
And Ranieri was favourite to get sacked first as well.
Yeah, exactly. Ranieri was favourite to get sacked. Yeah, because Ranieri had been. I think he'd been managing. Was he managing the Fair? No, he was managing Greece, and they lost to the Faroe Islands, didn't they? In national football, so he was doing that. So he hadn't been doing anything really.
I think there was his time at Chelsea as well.
Yeah, but between the time he got hired and it'd been about 11 years since he'd been in English football. So that's the greatest story in Premier League history. Them being champions. Oh.
What was that?
I don't know what that is. Okay. Mute button. But yeah, that's the greatest story I think because of them winning it, because it's just out the blue, totally out of the blue. Totally out of the blue.
I totally agree. It was one of them that was just like, it was.
Wes Morgan and Robert Hoof partnership in defence winning it.
Oh my
God! The whole country got behind them, apart from Tottenham fans as well. The whole country got behind them.
That was great for us because we, as they call it, the Battle of the Bridge, when we went 2-0 down and Spurs were going on to win the league or something, and then we come back to beat them. We come back. And then.
You were singing Ranieri's name as well, which was
we were.
Because Ranieri, former Chelsea man as well. Like there was that bit of history of that as well. And
but if you know Chelsea, if you know the history between Chelsea and Spurs, it is hatred. It is hatred.
Wasn't that when Hazard was having a bad season as well, and he scored?
He came back for the last 7 games and played out of his skin, and then he scored. He scored. He just decided to take 9 months off essentially. And came back for the last 7
maternity leave.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he came. And then he scored that bang. He scored that banger, and I think the commentator was, last year he won the Premier League for Chelsea. This year he's won the Premier League for Leicester. And then you see they showed all the Leicester players celebrating in Jamie Vardy's living room or something like that, popping champagne and things. So
just them memories. That's what makes you fall into love with football as well.
We're smiling talking about it, and we're not even fans of Leicester, which just shows you.
Yeah, but that's just part of the whole love story, though. That just shows you the whole love story of that.
Every time he turns his camera off,
Sorry, yeah.
The bit I want to talk about next is obviously let's save best till last. So let's do Wigan. Let's do Wigan and their FA Cup triumph. I know Professor's not going to be too keen on talking about this, but Wigan to win that trophy. I mean, they got relegated that season. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, they got Europa League out of it.
I mean, they got relegated. They got relegated the following Tuesday. So.
Yeah. But I think they're the first ever team to be playing Europa League in the Championship.
Yeah, they are.
Which is
Millwall and Norwich.
Millwall, you're right. Millwall, Millwall.
Well, okay, but in my lifetime,
sorry.
In my lifetime, it is Wigan.
In your memories,
Yeah, but how important? Well, not important, but how amazing was it? Wigan winning that FA Cup.
It was astonishing because I bring it back to myself. I think that day Chelsea played Villa and Lampard broke the goal scoring record, so I was already on a high anyway. And we basically secured. It was a rubbish season. Dimitar had been fired, but we Benitez had turned us around. We finished third, secured Champions League football on the way to Europa Cup final. On the way to Europa Cup final, all good. Then I sat down with my dad going, you know what? We'll watch the cup final. I know what's going to happen. It's Man City against Wigan. Man City hadn't had a good season that year. They won the Premier League the season 4, but hadn't really done a good defence. I think there was rumours about Mancini that day or something, that he had a bust up with some players or something like that, or management. But City just didn't turn up. I from what I can recall, he just didn't turn up. And then is it Ben Watson scores in like the late 80s minutes, something like that, 87th minute or something like that.
Like the
88th minute.
88th minute, from a corner. And I tell you what, I wasn't paying much attention to the second half, but then when I heard the commentator go, and Ben Watson, something like Ben Watson's won it or something like that, and then it was like, what? I had to rewind it. I had to rewind the live TV just to watch it again. And
he scored in the 91st minute.
91st minute, yes. So one of the last touches of the game, and you got what's his name? The chairman, Dave.
Dave Whelan.
Dave Whelan. Up there. I mean, he's always one of my favourite chairmans in football.
Also big up to Luke in the chat. We're just talking FA Cup Wigan. But Professor, we'll hear it from the other side. I'm sure you have different. feelings about this, but. I don't know how to word this. I was about to word it. How did it feel to be on the receiving end of Wigan?
Yeah, I mean, where do I even begin? I mean, obviously, City, they lost the league, but going into the final, they were overwhelming favourites. But I think the unrest started when, so I believe at the time it was Pantilimon who had been playing the cup games, and he had been promised he was going to start, and then on the day of the game, he was told that he was dropped in favour of Joe Hart, and even Joe Hart himself supposedly protested that. The players protested that, and then there were just rumours coming out over the course of that day, over that weekend, that Mancini was going to be sacked, regardless of the result of the cup game. So it was just not great preparations all round. And as you said, City didn't really. Yeah, thanks. And then obviously, by Sunday morning, he'd already been sacked. So it was an unfortunate end to Mancini's time at City. I mean. It sounds wrong to say it was poetic justice, Wigan getting relegated a few days later. It wasn't really their fault or anything like that, but that's football. You can be the FA Cup winners one day, and then just a few days later you're relegated to the Premier League. And arguably Wigan have never really reached those heights, or they haven't come close to coming back to the Premier League since.
You're saying that with a massive smile on your face right now. I can guarantee you're saying that with a massive smile on your face right now.
Matt, what do you make of? again, I'm sure you were absolutely beside yourself and loving life at this point. But what did you make of Wigan just doing that? I mean, it's unheard of in today's game.
I just thought it was funny as fuck. I was hoping Watford could do it 2 years ago, but unfortunately, that never happened. That was just demolishing. But Wigan doing it was actually amazing. It was Roberto Martinez, wasn't it? The Belgian manager?
Yes.
I like him as a manager as well. So yeah, it was good to see. It was really good to see, especially a year after the Aguero fucking thing on the 90th minute for them to lose a cup. It was brilliant, and especially for a small club like City, the cup's like quite a big thing for them.
FYI, next season, if Argyle get the pleasure of joining one of the big boys and knock them out, I'ma be unbearable. I'll be very fucking unbearable.
You think the 4 hour streams are long? You'll be on an 18-hour stream or something.
Oh yeah. I'll be like, nah. You stay here and receive. I'm not finished with you yet.
Better hope it's the semi-final against Dolly.
Could you just imagine, like, let's say Ollie bottles this semi-final, right? Let's put this into perspective. So Ollie bottles this semi-final, right? He gets to another semi-final next season, but he's facing tricky Plymouth Argyle at Wembley. Imagine if Argyle go on to win that. You, RJ, Dom, like, I'm gonna be there, like, bring it on, boys. I'll find some Janus at home park, and I'll be there like, hi boys. The stream will be done via me walking down Wembley Way. I'll be on my phone, just FYI. I'll dial you all in and send everyone a link, and you'll just see me with about 40,000 Janus going way, and I'll just Oh, I can imagine the views would be popping. Like the views would be absolutely popping. Me just stood at Wembley Way. Absolutely ripping the shit out of 4 or 5 United fans, just basically laughing at them. I mean, Andrew will probably be there laughing his absolute head off. You have Charl. You have so many rivals coming on. Like literally, I wouldn't even need to find any Argyle fans. I'll have plenty of them. Like, because you can bet that any of your rivals are gonna be Argyle fans that day. Like they're gonna be like, go on now, do it. Oh, that would be absolutely amazing. But yeah, we want the last one we should talk about before we either wrap up or get asked a question. Is Nottingham Forest? Obviously, Villa also doing it. How impressive was it? And don't forget, this was a Brian Clough that did it twice in a row.
Yeah.
With Nottingham Forest, like what I wasn't born for it. I don't know if the two gentlemen we have were alive for that, but
I was probably alive, but I didn't know the nose, let alone Nottingham Forest.
but obviously we've all heard about it and sort of read up on it and all of that. How amazing is it that Brian Clough and Nottingham Forest did 2 years in a row?
It is because of how the format was set of knockout from the very first round, and it was only champions that went in it, or if you won it. So the first year they won it was amazing, and the second year as well they were into it. The first round they got Liverpool, who were the English champions. And this was 80s Liverpool, right? This was dominant Liverpool, okay? And they knocked them out in the first round and went on to win it. So back to back, you can say what you want about Real Madrid winning it back to back 3 times. That is even I've never seen that before as well. But I think it was. I mean, you're playing straight knockout, so you're playing straight knockout, and for Nottingham Forest to win it the first time, extraordinary. But the second time to start off with the dominant Liverpool, knocking them out in the first round is also extraordinary as well. To win it back to back during those times. In theory,
to go 2 years unbeaten in Europe.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, to be the best team in Europe for 2 years is
unbeaten in Europe. No, like that is absurd when you even think about that in current day football.
It was sad how last season went as well. The way they got relegated. That was sad for last season, but it doesn't take away anything, obviously. It was sad to see
Yeah.
the way they went.
Yeah, I mean, Forest, still a huge club. Like they're not a huge club, but they're still big. Like that is still big achievement and all of that. But Professor, what do you make of the whole Brian Clough, Nottingham Forest unbeaten in 2 years, unheard of in current day?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we've been talking tonight about memories and about, you know, romantic stories in football. That probably is the most romantic story in English football. You know, Brian Clough, in my honest opinion, you know, the greatest English manager who never managed England. And, you know, taking Nottingham Forest, who, you know, I don't know an awful lot about Nottingham Forest history, either side of the, you know, before their European Cup success, but it's fair to say they were not thought of as the giants, you know, like United and Liverpool at the time, or even Aston Villa or Arsenal at the time. And to take them from being, you know, some club, you know, in the Midlands somewhere, to being champions of Europe, not just once, but twice in a row, beating, you know, Liverpool, you know, the Liverpool teams of the 70s and the 80s, probably some of the best teams to ever play football, full stop. It's a remarkable achievement that's stood the test of time. And, you know, as I said to you in a previous stream, I mean, between 77 and 84, Liverpool won 3 European Cups. Nottingham Forest won it twice. And Aston Villa won it once. No, sorry, correction. Liverpool won it 4 times in that period.
Yeah.
So, you know, that was a real dominant period for English football.
But you know, Liverpool though. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't believe they've ever won it back to back, right?
Yes,
No,
they did.
haven't.
Oh, did they?
Okay.
Yes, they did. 1977 and 1978.
Oh, that's my mistake then. But even during that time, though, Liverpool were dominant in England as well. So Nottingham Forest weren't a dominant side in England. Do you know what I mean? They weren't that. Yeah, they were. I mean, you're talking about in the 80s, especially. I mean, everyone talks about Liverpool, but you've got to mention Everton in the 80s as well as being remember Everton. The only reason Everton haven't done well in Europe, unfortunately, is because English clubs were banned.
No, I was just about to say, as I've mentioned, I made this point before in a different show, and also one of the teams that I also support as a sort of second team, Oxford United, did pretty well in the 80s as well. When they won the League Cup here, which was 35 years ago, just a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
And, you know, if they'd been allowed to play in Europe, would have played in the UEFA Cup. So,
yeah,
you know, England, not only was it a good period for English teams, but other teams like Everton, like Oxford, and Wimbledon as well, you know, when they won the FA Cup, you know, were denied the chance.
Yeah.
So that decade, the 1980s, you know, could have been a clean sweep.
Oh, yeah. We're talking, we are talking about whether it's multiple. Probably if you're thinking about it, but Liverpool might be sitting. I know they talk about 6. They might be sitting on 8 European Cups at the moment, and maybe even Everton, maybe Everton, and maybe even on 1 or 2. This might be European Cups at this time if they were.
Yeah, if they hadn't been back.
Yeah, he's absolutely right.
And you know, a friend of mine is an Everton fan. You know, he once cited that as his, in inverted commas, hatred for Liverpool because of that. He says he's never forgiven Liverpool FC because of that. And you know, it's a bit of a it's a bit irrational. But,
that is irrational to blame Liverpool.
You know, as much as I might detest Manchester United or whatever, I don't actually hate people. I don't hate teams. You know, at the end of the day, you win, you lose. That's the game. But that you know, to go back to the point about Forest, you know, that is the greatest probably English football romantic story. And don't forget, you know, Brian Clough, you know, he took Derby County to the semi-finals as well. So it goes to show that he wasn't a fluke. He was a great manager, a great footballing mind.
Yeah, should have managed England.
Should have done. What I mean, I don't know if they've ever done a documentary or anything about it, about why he never got the job, but it would be interesting to know why he was never considered. Because, you know, as great as Bobby Robson was, you know, the late great Sir Bobby Robson, Brian Clough would have been an excellent successor to Bobby.
Mm.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. But before we go to Matt, Daniel, big up to everyone. How is everyone on this fine night? Big up the panel. Big up to yourself, mate. Big up to yourself.
Cheers, Dan.
Matt, you're going to be similar to me. You're not going to have been born for this, not even going to be aware of it. But I've read into it. I've heard all about it. How much of a romantic love story is Nottingham Forest going unbeaten in Europe 2 years in a row, winning the Premier League title? I think they also won the Premier League title the year they got promoted. So they got promoted, then won the title.
They did. Yeah. See, if you're a football fan, if you're an English football fan anyway, you know about Forest and what they achieved with Brian Clough. Unfortunately, it's probably ignorant from me, but I probably couldn't name any of the players myself. That's probably ignorance on my side, but
no, I'm the same. I'm the same.
Yeah.
I only remember Brian Clough.
Yeah, but it's a big moment in English football history, and it just shows. It gives inspiration to teams, and when you think about it, it levels why the Super League was never a good idea as well. When you think about it, because Forest came from the Championship. Well, it wasn't Championship then, Division 1 was it? And they came up and won the Champions League in 2 years after it. So that's mental, and people like Perez should look into stuff like that and notice that anything's possible in football.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, I was just having a look at the squad that won it with Nottingham Forest. I mean, lots of recognisable names here: Peter Shilton, Viv Anderson, Trevor Francis, Martin O'Neill, John Robertson, Archie Gemmell, or Gemmell, however it was pronounced. So, you know, there were some good players there, but I mean, your point still stands. It was, you know, had this stupid European Super League gone through, you would never get stories like that ever again.
Yeah, exactly. No, you never would.
And that's why we love football, you know, whether it's the European Cup, whether it's the Champions League, whether it's the Premier League, whether it's even the World Cup. The ability for a team that, you know, might be the underdogs or who nobody gives a chance, that they can go all the way and through their own sheer determination, you know, not just for the players, but also the management and the stuff behind the scenes.
Passion comes into it as well.
And passion.
Yeah.
That they can go all the way and win, you know, the biggest prize at the end of it.
Yeah.
The final bit I want to end is us deciding the greatest English club side. Now, I'm going to give you 4 options, right? So I remember Sky Sports doing this. They did it much more intellectually than we're about to do it. And they had like points for things. I'm going to name you the Manchester United 99 treble winning side under Sir Alex Ferguson, the Liverpool 98 to 94 side with Bob Paisley, Joe Fagan, the United side of 2006 to 2009 under Fergie, and the Liverpool side of 75 to 78 under Bob Paisley. Now, out of all 4 of them, which one is the greatest English side of all time? Andrew, we'll start with you.
I missed. Sorry, can you just repeat them? I missed the start. I'm sorry.
So the greatest English club side of all time: United treble winning to 01. Liverpool 81 till 84. Joe Fagan, Bob Paisley. Fergie with the 06 to 09 side at United, and Liverpool 75 to 78 era of Bob Paisley. Which one of them is the greatest English side of all time?
It's a battle between the 2 Uniteds for me. Because I wasn't around. Listen, I'm a mid-90s football fan onwards, so I wasn't there. Sorry, I wasn't there to watch them. I got no interest. in watching them whatsoever. They might be.
We'll also chuck in the Arsenal Invincibles.
No. Because Chelsea got more points and more wins and played and were better the next season, so that's why
more points.
We weren't Invincibles. It's so tough. I have to back the first Man United 98 to 01. It's just historic. The treble season is historic as it's the greatest English football season of all time for me. Encompassing it. What's amazing is that they got more points the following season in the league to retain that title. I mean, that team. I mean, Fergie lost out to Arsenal the season before, and I think he made 3 key signings that summer. Let's say 2. Lester Blomqvist came in. He did his part. He did his part in that squad. But Jaap Stam at the back is very underrated. When you talk about Premier League defenders of all time, and it was horrible the way he ended his career at United when he got sold to Lazio behind his back. He was very. I know what.
Fergie never really left. Players never really left on a high.
But then he brought in Dwight York, and that partnership of Andy Cole's one of the greatest Premier League partnerships of all time. I mean, if I just say one goal from that away trip to Barcelona, when they drew 3-0 and they did that 1-2 basically around the Barcelona pitch and players, was also, and then that Premier League season, the ending, one of the greatest and last days. It went to the last day. That Premier League season. And Roy Keane's performance, Juventus semi-final, one of the best individual performances. They were 2-0 down. He just got the yellow card, so he missed the final. Paul Scholes got the yellow card, missed the final. And then,
they really won that semi-final. They treated that semi-final as if it was their final, because it essentially was their final.
Yeah. And let's talk briefly about the final. United were shit in that final, absolutely shit. They were, but it doesn't matter. When you win it, it doesn't say how. When you win it, it doesn't say how bad you played in the final, how good you played. Solskjaer's goal is one of the most iconic goals in English football history. So is Teddy. Everyone forgets Teddy Sheringham's goal. Equally,
he got the goal.
More important.
He got an assist as well.
He got an assist as well. You know what I mean? But and some of the football they played as well that season was excellent. Yeah, I mean, FA Cup semi-final replay against Arsenal, one of the greatest games I've ever had the privilege of watching live. One of the greatest. That Ryan Giggs goal, especially after Bergkamp missed the penalty as well. One of the greatest goals I've ever seen, but one of the greatest games as well. Even as a Chelsea fan, I've got to give it to the treble side. The history what that side did. So.
Yeah, that's a fair one. What about you, Professor? Who are you giving the greatest English side award? The Let's Talk Premier League greatest English side. Who gets it for you?
I mean, dare I even say this? I am surprised that Matt Busby's team didn't even get a mention. If they're considering,
I could, but I don't think
that kind of tests our football knowledge a bit.
it tests my intellectual knowledge on reading a lot. I look, of course, of course, the whole, the whole ability of what he went through and the plane crash and all of that.
Not just the rebuilding the team, not just the winning, but to come back from the emotional and the physical scars of that, to still have your determination intact, your passion for the game still intact, and to see through to a happy ending to the tale. And obviously, as you all know as well, Matt Busby was a FA Cup winning player with Man City, so that was good. But I mean,
wasn't the European Cup winner though?
He has to get the last one, doesn't he, Professor? He has to get the last comment in, doesn't he?
I was going to say there's two statues of former Man City players outside Old Trafford. So
there's no Champions League Cup in your.
But I mean, be honest. When you say the greatest English sides, do you mean in the league or overall?
Just overall, just the greatest ever English champions.
I mean, it's really difficult to choose between the two Liverpool sides because you know, taking nothing away from Manchester United's achievements, they never really dominated back to back in Europe like Liverpool did. In fact, no English team has ever really done that. To be honest, you know, when Ferguson won the Champions League, they were about what?
Not just Nottingham Forest, the one we spoke about.
Yes, sorry, apologies. But you know, United, you know, they won their Champions League 10 years apart. You know, Chelsea, even though in that period they were dominating the league, they only won one Champions League. I mean, they got to the final. They got to the final. They should have arguably got to the final in 2005, but and then obviously there was Arsenal, dominant, who were strong in the league over that period, but you know, barely did anything in Europe. So I would probably have to say 80s Liverpool. That was the height of their success.
Yeah, it's a fair one. Matt, I feel like I know where your allegiances are gonna lie.
Yeah.
Who are you going for? Greatest English side of all time?
I'm going for the 99 one because it was a lot of academy graduates in that as well. And Ferguson always got told you can't win anything with kids, and then he went and won the Champions League with them a couple of seasons later. So, and the way we won the final, the FA Cup final as well, we beat Shearer. I think he rejected us in that summer, if I'm not wrong. I think he did. I think he rejected us in that summer. So that was poetic justice as well.
He did reject it.
And he cried in the final after he lost. So that was poetic justice. And I don't like Shearer after here. I wasn't even alive for it. I don't like him. But yeah, I wasn't alive for it, obviously, but I know all about it. And even the final against Juventus, Rory Keane, the semi-final against Juventus, Rory Keane had and everything was just a perfect season in my opinion.
Yeah. Can I just ask? Forgive my ignorance, but how much truth was there in the fact that Shearer rejected United, or is that just an urban myth?
No,
he came out and said it.
Yeah.
I think he says it's one of his greatest mistakes he ever made.
Yes. No, I'll tell you why. You know, he scored what 270 odd goals in the Premier League.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, if he went to United, this guy's getting near 500 league goals in the Premier League. If he went to that United team with Beckham and Giggs crossing the ball in and Scholes and Keane in the midfield. Yeah. I mean, they would have won. They would have won more. See, when they won that Champions League in '99, they probably would have won one before that as well.
Well, they might have got it back to back, as I pointed out.
Yeah, they might have got. They might. You know what? They might have got it back. Yeah, exactly, back to back, or 2 out of 3 years, or 3 out of 4 years, or something like that.
He wanted to play for his boyhood club, so credit to him.
And he never won a trophy with his boyhood club. You have to win it with
No.
Jokes on him.
Did they not win the Intertoto Cup?
No, they didn't even win that.
He wasn't there.
Or if they did, he was injured, I think. When he was injured.
That was when Scott Parker played for them.
It will go down as his greatest mistake of all time. I'm going to give it to the Invincibles. They were absolutely unreal. I'm taking the piss. I'm taking the piss.
Who give themselves their own gold trophy.
That side is the worst side of English football. I actually think I put that below the Derby County team, just for the ignorance of giving yourself your own trophy. Like, who the fuck does that?
Just to say, it's amazing to think Alan Shearer, the only winner's medal he has to his name, is the 94-95 Premier League.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
You know, even Emil
Heskey
has more winners' medals to his name.
He does, and that's if we tie it into today's football, that's the situation Harry Kane is finding himself in.
Yeah.
If they don't win this Sunday, but even if they do, it's a Carabao Cup.
Harry Kane asked but just to quickly answer my question before we do move on to Harry Kane, because I feel like that absolutely does need speaking about. I give it to a treble side. You can't really argue with it. Just the whole never been done. I don't think it'll ever be done again. I know City are trying, but you just can't. You just can't do it. Like you can get 2 of them, but I just don't think you can get all 3 anymore. There are too many good teams. You look at City; they've got the best side probably ever in terms of the amount of depth. Still can't do it. I just don't think it will ever be.
The competition's harder. Competition's harder than
it's
it was.
It's not only that; it's the scheduling as well. It's the scheduling as well. TV companies scheduling games not helping out. You know what I mean? Not helping the English sides in Europe out.
Could you imagine if Ollie done it?
That would be.
Could you actually imagine
that? That would just be pure shithousery, and the Ollie Outers would probably. The Ollie Outers would have to retire.
It wouldn't be because of Ollie. It'd be because of the players playing against his tactics.
Oh yes. Ollie, if Ollie won a treble, then Ollie Outers are going to have to retire and go find another.
It's been built on Sir Alex Ferguson. It's not been
that's Fergie's team. That was Fergie's team. But
let me ask you all this question. Do you think Arsene Wenger is considered less of a manager because he never won the Champions League?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
It's unfair.
Yeah. It's a failure in Europe. It's a failure in Europe.
But I mean, another point that I meant.
It's unfair to call him a failure.
In Europe, he is. In Europe, he is. In Europe, he is a failure.
He reached 2 European finals and he lost them both.
Yeah, and also you're forgetting that the Invincibles is not even his greatest Arsenal team. His greatest Arsenal team is 2001-02 double winning team. That's the best football. That's some of the best football I've ever seen play. And they didn't do anything. They didn't do anything in that Champions League. They did nothing.
Over the 26 years, Wenger had, player for player, a better outlay of talent to choose from than Ferguson had, and yet what does he have to show for 26 years at Arsenal? Just 3 league titles and a couple of FA Cups here and there.
Yeah, like 82 charity shields, and
we have to remember he was a great manager, but Niall, I've said this before. 26 years and 3 league titles, when you consider the players that he had, isn't a great return.
No.
When it's with them consistently getting top, or with the players they had coming towards the end, you have to take that into account as well. The state they're in after he left.
The problem is not a couple of things. First 8 years, he was one of the best. Yeah. Even without not really doing anything in Europe. First 8 years he was there, he was good, very good. The next 12 years, nothing. And the problem is he had too much control at that club as well. He sat with the owners, he supported the owners, and he should have gone. He should have gone after they won that FA Cup in 2014 against Hull. Yeah, that's when he should have gone, because he would have left. Thank you for the memories.
I mean, I'll say this to Arsenal fans, to any Arsenal fans watching this or listening to this or whatever, who were part of the Arsenal Out Brigade. That was absolutely disgraceful, the way Arsene Wenger was treated. Yes. Being effectively forced out. And as far as I'm concerned, they're getting their just desserts by the way they're suffering.
But he did need to go, and I think a lot of it is he didn't have the balls to go, and when a manager doesn't have the balls to go, unfortunately, you have to force them out. Go on, Prime.
Sorry, I don't think it's that. I think people will say that this Arsenal team, or the Arsenal team since Wenger has left, has been better than the ones he had, and yet he was still able to consistently get top 4 in a period where you had Redknapp at Spurs that were decent, right? You had David Moyes at Everton. You had Chelsea, United. Liverpool were always needy, but you had good teams, and yet he was still able to get top 4 and be somewhat of a. Enough of it. With limited resources, with players like Bettner and Shamak. So I think people, yes, it's not the Wenger of old and the Arsenal of old, the Invincibles, but like what he was able to do, like I still think he's great, but Arsenal fans disrespected him too much and thought that they were bigger and greater than they actually are. So yeah, they do deserve what's going on right now.
They still do disrespect him as well.
Yeah.
Even
big up to Ahmed in the chat as well. But Prime, who for you is the greatest English champions or of all time? Sort of like who's the greatest in your eyes?
What Premier League champions?
Just of of all time, like best English side, shall we say?
United's treble winning side, maybe. However, I didn't see that in my lifetime anyway. It would be the United team that won 3 Premier Leagues on the bounce and the Champions League.
Yeah, I mean that was Ronaldo, Giggs, goals, Tevez. Oh, wow, that is.
Well.
Oh yeah, Owen Hargreaves.
And that was a Ronaldo that won a Ballon d'Or.
Yeah, like everyone keeps saying about Salah being better than Ronaldo in the Premier League. I think that's just highly disrespectful to Ronaldo. Like, if you watched the Football Addiction back when, like all of us were on there before Sonny went to Liverpool Addiction, we actually had we created a best all team best 11.
Yeah,
and Salah got in there above Ronaldo, and
no.
I'm not even joking. I was that mad at Son.
I've heard Sonny say this before.
I was so mad at Sonny. I swear I didn't speak for the rest of the stream. I was absolutely raging.
Did he
was like, it's so disrespectful.
What's funny? Sonny tried having that situation with Indiana and I. Indiana wasn't having it, and Sonny switched from Ronaldo to Hazard. Sonny got shook.
I find it so disrespectful to Ronaldo. Like Ronaldo, in my opinion, is the greatest ever Premier League player there probably has been. Just for what he did.
Yeah. He won a Ballon d'Or. So he's got.
Yeah.
Did Salah break his record? Did Salah break his record, or was it tied?
I don't know, but I just think of Salah. Salah's a good player.
Salah broke the
Premier League goal scorer, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No. That's Shearer's the goal scorer.
No, not overall.
Suarez, I remember Suarez got the.
Oh, you mean in the season?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he broke.
Suarez equaled the. Oh, Suarez broke the Premier League record. Well, he equaled the golden shoe with Ronaldo and La Liga.
Oh yeah, it was Suarez.
Yeah, Salah definitely broke it. Got like
I just don't. You know, I know Salah's. For me, Salah's always been up there. His first season at Liverpool's the greatest for me, the best he's ever been. Really, I know he scored like loads of goals since then, but for me, his overall play has gone down since that first season. He was in. Well, I think he's just listen. I don't like saying this because I rate it, but he is a goal scorer. Okay, I believe he's that, and that's great. You know what? Yeah, and that's what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to be a goal scorer. Okay, he's a wide striker for me. That's what he is. You know, he's a wide forward, and he's going to be one of the greatest Premier League goal scorers, and I have no issue with that. And Liverpool fans shouldn't either. But Ronaldo was just something else, man. He was a beast.
Liverpool fans try and tell me that he's a winger, and I'm like, he's not a winger. Like, he's as far from a winger as you can possibly get.
When's the last time he crossed the ball? When's the last time?
That's the thing. Like when I think of wingers, I think of Ronaldo. I think of Beckham. I think of Giggs. I think of Hazard.
Yeah.
And maybe even less so Hazard because I think he was. The thing is with Hazard and Ronaldo, they were the sort of transitions. Like so, you think of proper wingers, Giggs and Beckham, right? Then you have the sort of transition between winger / inside forward, which is what Ronaldo and Hazard for me. I think them two really created that sort of inside forward role. And then obviously since then we've got Rashford and all of that.
Salah, Mane and all that,
Yeah. But I think actually Mane's ridiculously overrated. Ridiculously overrated.
I think
I can't remember what Liverpool fan it was. It was either one of Sonny, Genie, or Tom.
Ryan's always saying nothing's over. Ryan is always saying Mane and Salah overrated. That's probably right.
Yeah. But for me, one of the Liverpool fans, it was either Sonny, Tom, or Genie, said to me that they could get £80 million for Mane, and I literally, I nearly fell off my chair, and I'm sat on my chair quite comfortably, but I nearly fell off it. I was in complete and utter shock.
Bruno cost
80 million.
Not based on this season. Definitely not based on this season. He's been utterly shocking this season.
I think they said it in the Liverpool show, one of the Liverpool shows.
If they're saying it this, yeah, it must be. Yeah, no way you would get 8 million after this season.
I need to watch through the Liverpool. But
FYI, as well?
I am going to be clipping a lot of the Liverpool show because it's the most clippable show of all time. Like some of the stuff they say is absolutely unbelievable. But Klopp, is he finished at Liverpool?
Yes.
I think he's mentally and emotionally finished.
Next season.
I think he will either be the next Bayern Munich manager or the next Germany manager.
No, Flick's going to manage Germany. He's going to leave Bayern Munich. It's been reported.
That's not a done deal.
I think Nagelsmann's going to Bayern.
Yeah, Klopp is very loyal. He's not going. He wouldn't go to Bayern Munich, just like he won't go to Man United.
But he's done 5 years at Liverpool. It's not straight from Dortmund to Bayern, so
I don't think he's finished. Liverpool yet.
I don't think he'll go to Dortmund. And Matt, why do you not think he's finished?
Because this season has been ridiculously hard for him. To be fair, he's lost his mum due to the pandemic. All the leaders in the squad got injured pretty early on, and they had fucking Gini Wijnaldum as captain at one point. So I don't think he's finished. I think next season.
I think Matt, you could be right. I think it depends what the owners do in supporting him in their transfer plans this summer.
Yeah,
I think it all depends on that.
From it as well.
Yeah, if they say, "Oh, we're going to get this person from lower down in the Premier League," or somewhere else that he doesn't rate that player, then I could see him walking before the season starts. I really can.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you all this question. If he's not going to go for the Germany job, then if he did leave at the end of the season, where do you see Klopp going, or do you see him taking a break from football?
I think he'll take a break.
I
take a break. He's lost his mum. He's lost his mum. He couldn't get back. He lost his mum. He couldn't get back to bury her. Couldn't go to the funeral. You know what I mean? He couldn't because of COVID. He couldn't do that. I think he might just take a.
And I think you need to. I think if you think about what Klopp has done and the energy he's put into that club and all of that, he must be mentally done. Yeah. Like, if I was Klopp, I'd be like, do you know what? For the rest of the season, just do it yourselves, boys. I cannot be bothered with your shit anymore.
I think honestly, and I do think Liverpool will probably snatch fourth spot. If they do, that would be. Well, even if they don't, I mean, now would probably be.
I don't think they will.
No, you don't think so?
No, I don't. I think.
Well, I think either way, Klopp can turn around and just say, I've taken this club as far as I can.
They've got more of those Leeds performances in them this season. That summed up Liverpool.
I think Leicester have secured third. I do believe that. I think maybe not secured third, but I do think they've secured top four. They've got Palace next. Obviously, Chelsea and West Ham have got to play each other. So
we've still got to play Leicester.
So I think Leicester should be relatively okay.
Madison's just Leicester and Liverpool.
United. That's United are through. United are not.
No, but he's just talking. He's probably
about, like, I thought he was suggesting United could lose the top four race. I was about to say that's absurd. But I think that the top four for me is going to be City, United, Leicester, Chelsea. I would love it. I would love it to be West Ham. I just don't think they can. I think they're a good team, but I don't think they're quite going to be the ones to not let Chelsea in. I just think if you look at Tuchel, if you just look at Tuchel and what he's done with Chelsea, the real bounces. It's not even a manager bounce.
Not a manager's bounce, yeah.
Because if you were smashing teams 5-0 for the last 8, 9, 12 games, then it's a manager bounce. But it's the fact that you're winning 1-0 or you're winning 2-0.
Could you not see him prioritising the Champions League though, or the?
No. Why does he need to?
It is a
why does he need to?
Near the end of the season.
Well, he might not need to if we're not playing Real Madrid and we get through.
But if you think that, you've got the likes of Mason Mount, Giroud, Kai Havertz, Ziyech, Pulisic, Hudson-Odoi, Werner. Like no, Tammy Abraham is not a footballer, especially for Chelsea. Anyway,
he scored 15.
No,
you don't know. See, that's the problem. You're looking at his stats. You're not looking at how he plays.
I've watched. Right, so I'm in the luxury position of I've watched all of the football, barring maybe a couple of Sheffield United games and Crystal Palace. And Tammy Abraham is not a good footballer. He's just not. He's not I understand the whole we want him to do well, the love story again, but he's just simply not good enough, not for a top 6 side.
Who here rates Tammy? Sorry.
It appears that Matt rates Tammy.
Matt, can I ask you a few questions? What are your thoughts on Timo Werner? No one else answered. Right? No one else answered, by the way. No, tell me, what are your thoughts on Werner?
I don't think he's having a good season, but I think he'll be a good player next season.
Why don't you think? Wait, hold on. Why don't you think Werner's had a good season?
Because I've seen the misses he's had, and you're going to say the same thing for Abraham, aren't you?
How many misses do you think Werner's had this season?
I couldn't give you an exact number, mate, but I'd say between 5 and 10. I don't know.
Here's a stat for you. Chelsea created the second most chances in the Premier League last season, and yet Tammy missed the most big chances last season.
Okay, yeah, and you were going to.
He was nowhere near the top scorers in the Premier League.
I just think he's still quite young. He's not like 22.
He's 24. He's not. The guy's not. The guy
said he scored 15 goals.
Listen,
he said he scored 15 goals last season, right?
Yeah.
So 8 of them were in 4 games, like across the 4 games, and then the rest he did. The rest he wasn't good.
Also, this young thing that people keep talking about him, right? Okay, he's 23 years old. I don't take age of footballers that seriously, particularly when he's been playing first team football now for 4 or 5 seasons. So he's not a young player. Just like Rashford and Sterling are not young players because they've been playing for 4 or 5 seasons.
I think it's highly disrespectful to call Rashford a young footballer.
Yeah. I know. I still think
Rashford is more mature than most 30-year-old footballers. So I'm sorry, but
I mean, in football terms, I think there's still a lot more for him to improve. I think he can get just a better player. That's what I mean. Let's not
focus on Rashford. He's clear. Tammy, what are Tammy's attributes that you rate?
Well, just as goals. Right, that's fair enough. Right, you can prove me wrong.
See, I've watched plenty of Prime on other streams. So I know the trap you're falling into is beautiful.
Let me hear a few other strikers.
I'm trying to forfeit. I'm waving the white
flag here. There are a few other strikers here. Do you rate Michy Batshuayi?
No, I do not. I've already admitted defeat.
Why don't you rate Batshuayi? No. Why don't you rate Batshuayi?
I've admitted defeat.
Why don't you rate Batshuayi?
I've admitted defeat.
All right.
Prime. Leave the young man alone, Prime.
I've watched plenty of. I've seen plenty of Prime on different streams. I've been on streams of Prime. I knew the trap you were falling into. Like the minute it was me and Andrew were sort of sat there like, he's fallen into that trap. Prime's out to.
So, Matty, to be honest, if Prime didn't get you, I'd be getting you now. So,
Matt, I'm sure you're a great guy. Yeah, I have nothing against you.
Prime is absolutely brilliant when it comes to schooling someone on a Chelsea player. You just don't want to pick Prime.
Yeah, I realised that after the first few questions. I realised that I was talking to, but I kept going for some reason.
They always do. Like I've seen plenty of people try and fight against Prime, and the thing is, once you know Prime's got you on the ropes, the best thing to do is just chuck in the white towel. Like I've watched plenty.
I do. He's just going for the knockout.
I don't want people to do that because they don't know why I'm right.
Why I'm right, I love it.
No, I do know why you're right. I do know why you're right.
So everyone say it with me. Tammy's a championship striker.
No, I wouldn't even maybe say championship. He could probably do it.
He could do
like a Brighton, no Villa. That's just disrespectful to Ollie Watkins. No, I think a Brighton or a Newcastle, where there is no real pressure on him. You're allowed to be consistent. Like you can have off games. You expected that. I think probably
there's no pressure with Newcastle fans. Do you know people like Kendall? There's no pressure with Newcastle fans.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like the Newcastle fans don't expect you to win every game because they know their shit.
I know. I think he'd be great at Brighton.
Yeah,
I think he'd be great at Brighton. If he scores, he just needs to score 10 to 12 goals a season at Brighton.
He's
be
not
a
scoring,
great player for them.
He's not scoring 10 to 12 goals.
But what I'm saying is, Prime, they've got Danny Welbeck, but he's never fit. Right, he's never fit.
I mean, they
Tammy
got Moody.
I think Tammy would suit a side like that more preferably, you know.
And here's the thing with Tammy. I don't mind him staying at Chelsea. Third, fourth choice striker playing in the FA Cups against the likes of Plymouth Argyle. I don't mind. It's fine.
You really don't want Tammy. Because the thing is, we're just going to make you flood crosses. And the one thing I've noticed with Tammy is he's really tall, but my God, he can't score with his head.
I never said he was a world-class player. I was saying that he's a good player. I didn't say he was like...
I mean, he's not even a good player, though. He's not
a
even
wet sponge for a forehead, man. He can't.
No, you're right.
Wet
he
sponge for a forehead.
He is a good player. You're right. So he can
That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying. I wasn't saying that as a starter. I think just to keep for squad depth. I wasn't saying start him over Werner or anything.
The issue is this guy's looking for 120 grand, between 120 150 grand a week to sign a new contract.
What? You're joking.
And I just
Bruno Vandes is on 100.
I know, and I go.
That's the Herrera situation. He wanted 350.
Yeah, but I go. He's not. If he's only like me and Prime think he's a third choice. If he's only starting FA Cup and Carling Cup games, I'm not paying that striker.
Andrew, currently in my head, Tammy Abraham's our sixth choice striker. You have Timo Werner, Giroud, Havertz. Yeah. Yeah. You have Michy Batshuayi, who's out on loan. You have Amarja Broja, who's out on loan, and then Tammy.
Do you know what? I'd actually start Mason Mount up. I'd start Mason Mount up top before Tammy.
Who's Broja? Who's here? I don't know.
What do you make of Mason Mount? I know that there are some Chelsea fans, even to this day, still living in some weird land where Mason Mount is apparently a poor player. I think he's brilliant. If he was called Mason Mountdinho, he would be world class right now.
He's Chelsea's best player, in my opinion.
No, Mason Mount was at Leicester for 2 seasons. The amount of time Maddison was at Leicester, people would be loving Mason Mount.
Why don't they like him then? It's weird.
Because it's the same people.
They say he's a teacher pet.
It's the thing of Lampard kind of built the whole system around Mount. So when Chelsea was failing and Lampard was doing bad, Mount was also bad as well because the inconsistencies. So people just used it to blame him. The same way people didn't like Sarri, so they blamed Jorginho.
Did you want Lampard?
I think all of them did, didn't you?
You
want Lampard out. I think.
Look, Lampard's a good.
I remember watching you on the terrace. I think it was you that when you have to split the player between the manager.
Yeah, you do. He is our greatest ever player, or top 2 anyway. But in terms of as a manager, look, he is a good manager, or he's a good coach, but in terms of winning the league or even challenging, he's not it yet. But in terms of getting he's fine.
Do you think he should go to the England under-21s job?
No, I think that would be a disrespect to him.
No, I mean just to take that break. Maybe I think the one thing that was sort of put at his door for a major criticism was his man management. So I'm thinking just getting away from I try and say get away from the pressure. That's impossible. But I just think maybe learning with the under-21s, maybe only for a year or two. Maybe take us to the next tournament with the under-21s. Hopefully achieve something and then make that step back into club management.
No, because once you're in that youth ranks, you could get stuck there forever. But maybe because he has a big name in football, he might get another big job. Or he definitely will get another big job. But I think for him, like, there's no reason why he can't go to for example, if Graham Potter goes to the Spurs, there's no reason why he can't go to Brighton and play well.
Like the Spurs.
Or he can't go to like a Southampton or an Everton or something, because he is a good manager and he can get.
Because I know Nuno. Because with the Spurs job, obviously there's three people linked. There's Potter, there's Nuno, and there's Hasselhoff.
And
so I mean, but I don't think Brendan will go.
Yeah, Brendan.
Did he not say that he wasn't going in a press conference? I think.
There's also this. He could go to Celtic and basically add a few trophies and build himself up a bit.
Yeah, that's a shout.
And kind of give himself that winning mentality and build up his reputation, kind of like what Rodgers did.
Yeah, because right now I don't want to say damaged goods because that's just so disrespectful, but he's got that bit of tarnish to his name now, especially if the stuff that's come out with the players and all of that. Do you think it would be better for him to go to a Brighton, a Wolves, where there is that less pressure to really achieve too much? Like,
who are we talking about? Sorry,
maybe
Lampard.
Maybe it'd be good going abroad. But there's also that thing for him of, like you're saying, take the under-21s at England. And people keep saying Southgate is so bad. If England do play poorly in these Euros and he gets sacked, then Lampard gets fast-tracked to the first team role for England. That's going to ruin his career. Not only is he failing at a big club, he's also failing at for England as well.
I'm going to shoot off now.
That's
later. So thanks. I'll speak to you guys soon. I'll be in the Chelsea show tomorrow.
Yes, absolutely.
And register, subscribe to this channel. The Nexus, me and Prime are on that channel. Strong TV, Charlotte's channel, and Kate's No Filter Football. We're just over 20 subs away from 1,000. So please subs to that, please.
Nice.
Thanks, guys. I'll speak to you a lot later.
Absolutely. Cheers for coming on, mate.
No problem, man.
Do you think he could
the
Ajax job? If the Ajax manager left, do you think he could go to Ajax?
I don't think he'd go abroad.
I think he's just happy sitting out for the time being, to be honest.
He has just had a kid, hasn't he?
Has he?
I'm pretty sure they just had a kid, haven't they?
Yeah, he just had a kid.
Oh,
yeah, so he's probably happy to chill. But I do think that his next job, he needs to be quite careful. But I don't really want him at the England under-21s because I personally want Nicky Butt there. I think someone who's used to handling kids sort of at United, I think a Nicky Butt would be perfect.
I mean, I am probably one of the few people who thought it was unfair that Lampard got sacked at Chelsea, but I mean, given how Tuchel has performed, people will argue otherwise.
I mean, you have to look at the context. I mean, arguably, he should have been sacked at the end of last season.
Maybe, but he still got them in. He still got them into the top four. They got to the FA Cup final.
In fairness, he didn't.
Top four is not an achievement.
but for a manager in his first season as a Premier League manager,
but he was well clear of Ollie. He was well clear of Ollie in the league, and then he allowed it to get to a final day as well.
Also, the experience he had around him with the players, the fact of like Chelsea really did everything for this guy to succeed. He wanted to give him an experienced backroom coach, a backroom staff, but he didn't want that. They gave him one of the best goal scorers in Europe for the past few seasons. They gave him this generational talent in Kai Havertz, one of the best creative playmakers, creative wingers in Europe. They gave him one of the best centre backs in the past decade, and they gave him a promising goalkeeper in Mendy. But they gave this guy everything.
No, but what you said after the first season was a bit unfair.
I was going to say Lampard as a former Man City player, he's always welcome to come back as an assistant manager or backroom staff.
No, I don't think he should go that far down. Like the first, I think a Wolves or somewhere like that is good. But do you guys think Emma Hayes should not make the jump into? Well, actually, yeah. Do you think she should make the jump into men's football? Because this Chelsea team, like her tactics are absolutely they're unquestionable.
Would it be disrespectful to put her in the under-21s?
Yes, yes,
really,
It
hugely.
is a completely different game.
Should she come into men's football? Yes, and no. Here's the thing: her at Chelsea, it fits her perfectly, like the way Ferguson was perfect for United. If she comes into the women's game, she needs to get the perfect job for one, and she needs to be afforded time. Not because she's a woman, but because as a manager, in order to build a philosophy, you need to be given time. And in this modern game, it's based essentially on immediate success.
Where do you think the perfect job for her would be within the men's game? Because she was linked with League One, which I thought was just way disrespectful. I thought that was a slap in the face, to be brutally honest. I thought she's far too good for that.
Honestly, I think she needs to. I mean, she is a winner, but there's this thing of can she translate it in the men's game? So it's either does she prove herself at, like, say, a Leipzig or a team like. Actually, maybe Leicester would be perfect for her. But the thing is, I want her to come to Chelsea eventually, especially if she actually is the real deal in the men's game.
Has she applied for the Celtic job?
No, Celtic is a massive disrespect to her. It's too easy.
Why would it be a disrespect?
It's not because she's not going to learn anything in the men's game. It's too easy.
They didn't win the league this season.
She's going to play. She's going to manage Celtic and then get in the Champions League. And then she'll get slapped because Celtic don't have great players.
It's unfair to say the Celtic jobs eat into and learn anything there.
And then people will blame her, saying that she's not a good manager because she will get slapped in Europe because Celtic players are not that good. So no, it'd be too. She needs.
But she would learn. She would learn then, because if they went up against good opposition in the Champions League and they somehow
because she is. Sometimes
Celtic
top
is a big club.
Top managers need to work with top players, and I think
Alex Ferguson started at Aberdeen.
Yeah, he did,
and he won. Yeah, so like, I know she's.
Yeah, but at the time, Aberdeen were still. Aberdeen were good, and with Emma Hayes' CV and how much she just dominates the women's game, people will be having ridiculous expectations of her.
It's a transition. It is a transition. So like,
I do think that Leicester or Everton or maybe even Villa, like if Dean Smith did ever leave, I'd see them three. No, not with Mike Ashley. No, because I want Emma Hayes to be given a good opportunity under Mike Ashley. What is the opportunity? To not get back to the transfer market and to be dealt with players, like
I want to maybe learn abroad. If she's going to be one of the first, I mean, I know there have been a few other female managers in the men's game, but if she's going to be one of the first prominent ones, because of how dominant she is in the women's game, I don't think doing it in England would be the best idea.
No, because the English press are a bunch of assholes.
Exactly.
To put it as politely as you can, the British media are disgusting. Like and that's what I think ultimately got Jose in the end was the British press. They always do this. They always big up someone to bring them back down, and Jose was the media darling boy. Came in under when Fergie was dominant. Took it to Fergie. The media loved him, and then the media.
Wenger as well.
Well, yeah, but Wenger isn't really an achievement as it is with Fergie, and I just think when he was at Spurs, that it was just the bringing down of Jose. But who do you think will take the Spurs job? Obviously, Ryan Mason's got it at the moment. Do you see Levy just giving it to Ryan Mason?
I think if Levy is so tight that if Spurs win the Carabao Cup or they make top 4, or even say they finish away from top 4 by like 2 or 3 points, he might actually give him the job on the permanent.
Actually, I was thinking about it last night after watching the game, and it wasn't the greatest game ever, and you could definitely tell that was a manager bounce. You could easily see that because the players started playing better. I mean, we even saw Bergwijn. I don't think I've seen Bergwijn for quite some time. But that was clear that was a manager bounce. There was nothing in that game. And I know he only had 2 days and we'll see more in the cup final. But to be brutally honest, you could just tell it was a manager bounce. That wasn't him tactically being better than Jose.
I think City will show them up in the final, I think, and then we'll see that it was just a manager bounce.
Could you imagine if Ryan Mason wins that trophy?
I highly doubt it.
If Ryan Mason wins that trophy, I might need to get away from Twitter for a bit.
Imagine against Pep Guardiola in his trophy. It's Pep's trophy.
Oh my God! Yeah, there is absolutely no way that can happen. Surely, I mean, it could happen. There's a 50% chance of that happening, but
50. I wouldn't say 50. I would not say 50.
Well, no, I'm being equal. There's 2 teams that can win it. Half of 100 is 50.
Yeah, but
I mean, 4 League Cups in a row. That's a bit, for a trophy that everybody, lambasts as not being. Not being worth anything. City.
It's not.
And other big teams have actually made a big deal of that trophy, to be honest, in recent years. So
I think it'd be good for Southampton, get them in the Europa League and stuff like that.
I just wanna chuck this out there. I'm not even Plymouth Argyle respect the Carabao Cup. That's how bad and irrelevant it is. I'm not even joking. This season we chucked out our youth. Like we shithoused our way through QPR, which was quite remarkable. Just chucked our youth in. Like we disrespect that cup every year, as do a lot of teams. Because just you think there's fixture congestion in the Premier League. You try doing it where you're playing 46 Football League games plus. If you go on a cup run, that's probably an extra 3 or 4. Then you got Carabao Cup. Then you got Johnston Payne Trophy. Or shall I say,
for teams below the Premier League, with all due respect, the cup competitions are a distraction.
We love the FA Cup.
I mean, yeah, they're a great occasion, but I mean, the first priority should be to try and do the best you can in the league to try and get promoted. You were talking about potential Spurs managers. I mean, there's 2 who are available. Pellegrini's available, and also Benitez seems to have followed Jose a few times, hasn't he? When Jose got sacked from Chelsea last time, they replaced him with Benitez. Then
other way around.
Was it?
Yeah, Benitez was an interim, and then we got Mourinho on the permanent.
Okay.
Because Benitez won the Europa League with you.
I do think Benitez would be a shout for Spurs though, because he's going to be relatively cheap, right? He's fairly good. And yeah, but then is he really going to work well with Daniel Levy? Because wasn't that the reason he left Newcastle? Was just he couldn't be bothered to work with Mike Ashley anymore. He wasn't getting backed.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were right. Mourinho did follow Benitez at Chelsea.
It's one of them that's just like if it happens, it happens. But I don't know.
I was going to say earlier, because we talked about the best teams winning the league or whatnot. One topic we should have discussed was maybe the best managers who didn't win the Premier League, and for me, Benitez would be top of the list. He's a manager I do rate very highly. I think Spurs would do well under him, to be honest, or Pellegrini even.
What's the Newcastle man? The Newcastle manager that managed Barcelona. Why am I forgetting his name?
Steve Bruce.
No, not Steve Bruce. Bobby
Robson.
Yeah, him and Kevin Keegan. I put up there.
Oh yeah.
Kevin Keegan.
Yeah,
Kevin Keegan.
Nah, mate. I'm sorry, but after what he said when he was like, I would fucking love it if they beat them. Absolutely love it. And
I would love it if we beat them. Love it.
Yeah. That was passionate, to be fair. He did challenge him. He did get them to it too.
Then I'm pretty sure he got his ass handed to him on a plate.
He did, but it's ones that never won the Premier League, to be fair, and he did come very close twice, was it?
Yeah.
He finished second.
I mean,
I think he's a good manager.
I don't know if I rate Kevin Keegan. I just don't know if I do. But
he did a good job at City.
What do you think? What do you think of Benitez?
Oh, I love Benitez. I think he's brilliant. If I was Newcastle fans, I'd be absolutely fuming that he was never backed because
they are fuming.
They're always fuming.
They're furious. Yeah.
I'll tell you another manager that I rated very highly. One of the great respected gentlemen in the game, Gerard Houllier, who obviously passed away not so long ago. So I mean, they only really came close to winning the title once, and unfortunately, he was out for a chunk of that season due to his heart problems. But I thought he was a very good manager.
No, I'd give him that as well. But we're going to wrap up there. That was episode 1 of Late Night Let's Talk. I quite enjoyed that. I need to come up with new topics to talk about, but to be fair, with these chats, we will end up going into some oblivion on talking in something. But before you go, please do make sure you leave a subscribe on the channel with notifications on. Leave a like on the video, massively helps us if you do that. Go follow our Twitter at Let's Talk EPL, where we'll try and give you the big news for the Big Six. Transfer rumours are starting to circulate, so we'll be doing some videos on them as well in the next coming weeks. So that'll be something new to look out for as well. Join our Instagram at Let's Talk EPL. We're basically all over the place. You can find me at Narl_PAFC. Genuinely, not even normally I'll talk Argyle, but to be brutally honest, I forgot they even play at the moment. They're doing my nutting. But Professor, you really can't be found too often, can you? Apart from I think on Twitch.
Yeah, find me out on Twitch, Professor Wigglytuff PhD. Yeah, just reach out to me if you want to talk all things Man City or Oxford United or absolutely anything related to sport, politics. Reach out.
Yeah, absolutely do that. And Matt, where can they find you, bro?
Just MSE6921 on Twitter.
100%. And Prime, where can they find you, mate?
I don't think he's there.
Are you there, Prime?
Oh, I forgot I was muted. Sorry. My Twitter is down below. You can catch me on the Football Terrace. Tomorrow I'll be on Strong TV for the Everything But Football show. Chelsea play on Saturday, don't we? Yeah, I'll be doing my watch along. Yeah, just catch me on Twitter for anything I may be doing or maybe getting up to.
Yeah, make sure you go check everyone out. We'll be back tomorrow, 6 p.m. for the Chelsea show, 8 p.m. for the Liverpool show, and then 10 p.m. hosted by RJ. I'll be leaving halfway through. I'll only be there for half hour So the training wheels are fully taken off, RJ. So Matt, that is absolutely zero messing around from you, because I'll still be watching. I just have to.
I never.
I just have to go sort some things out. So I won't be there. I'll be doing the quiz, obviously. So we'll start with the quiz, then I'll be jumping off. So yeah, that'll be RJ. But yes, Matt, I'll still be watching. So don't be too ridiculous. But yeah, make sure you catch us tomorrow. Saturday, we'll have match reaction of probably the biggest game of the weekend with Chelsea versus West Ham on Saturday. Also have match reaction of Liverpool-Newcastle. And then Sunday, it is the Rose Derby between Leeds and United. So make sure you check us out for that. But big up to everyone watching, and we will see you tomorrow.